It's funny. See, my name's Bo because my parents wanted a son.
Well,
jails are not my favorite terrain. Just want to point that out. Not this go round. No.
Right.
good to know.
I would have guessed that
No
about you.
jails.
Not really comfortable with that.
So,
My mother always said nothing in life is free.
Yeah, I can tell.
You have questions for
support
me?
the arts,
Yes.
as it were.
Okay.
How does someone like you, a human, right?
Yeah.
How do you come by learning halfling?
My parents were in the winery business and the wine making business, and halflings really like wine.
Whatever, everyone likes wine.
That's true. That's true.
Some people more than others.
Some people more than others. Some halflings just deal in wine a lot, and a lot did in the town that I'm from. And my parents wanted me to like keep up with the books and all that stuff, so it kind of forced me to learn halfling. I was around a lot.
What town was that then?
It's close by here, right?
It's a few. It's a bit of ways. It's Comorta.
Haven't heard of it.
Yeah, it's a small farming town. It's no big deal. It's whatever.
Nothing shady there.
Nope,
it
just a
really
wandering
midnight?
traveler, just like the rest of y'all.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you two not know each other super well? You seem like you do.
Oh, we got a good, 24, 48 hours on the rest of you.
Yeah, we're not super deep.
Oh, no.
Nope.
No, she's in blue for reasons that I cannot disclose
Oh,
yet.
what?
Oh.
There's a blue. There's a blue backstory.
Hadley DeForty has a question for Marisha Roy. Why did you go after the little girl, and is there something in Beau's background that affected this choice of action?
Yes.
Taliesin. Is that all you want to say?
Yes, there is something in Beau's background. It was not just a random stupid decision. She, saw, was maybe projecting a little bit on the little girl. She had a little sympathy for her.
Because of her own past or someone else she knew?
Beau is young. Beau is a young human
8 years
girl.
old. 5 years old.
Double digits.
She's drinking.
She's double digits.
What's
Yeah,
the age
she's,
there in
Double
the Wildamount?
she's like 22, 23.
It's cool.
Okay.
That's dumb. It's Keela's wave. And then I think I said it during the stream at some point. It was like the last game, or our first game with Laura, and I was like, I'm concerned. I've only seen you eat pastries. And I'm like, wait, no, I'm not concerned. I don't care. I got to remember, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Taliesin said last week, Marisha, that Molly is not a fan of Beau.
Uh-huh.
Is that feeling mutual?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And how does it feel to have that change in attitude from Percy and Keyleth's close friendship?
It's fun.
I've been waiting to hate you for so long.
You suck balls.
Suck it. Why do you guys hate each other?
She's pompous.
He's a grifter.
That's true.
She's so full of herself and has so many opinions about how it's like just like it's just like
He takes advantage of people who are clearly gullible.
she obviously cares about nothing.
And he obviously
You guys are making me
has
hate
a
both of
third
you.
thing.
I hate both of you now. You sound like terrible fucking people.
I'm so excited about
You're
this.
obviously shifty and hiding shit. That's my third thing. It took me a little bit longer to think of it though.
Yeah, no, I'm
Shifty and
definitely
hiding
shifty and
shit.
hiding shit.
Yeah, definitely a little.
And Beau likes knowing about people.
Yeah, I ain't gonna.
The Mad Hatter wants to know, who does your character mistrust the most so far? It's a great question. Alice, yeah. okay,
Uniformly, this Molly Mock character is really shifty.
Really shifty.
Yeah.
Squishy Pride wants to know, for Marisha, does Beau have a particular martial art style?
She does. Yeah, once again, I think she's still kind of trying to find it. Right now, Beau is very scrappy. And is kind of just a bar brawler, because that's kind of, where she came from. That I guess that would be her fighting background, is fighting in bars.
I have so many movies I want to watch with you
Can
right
it,
now.
can it be capoeira, dance fighting?
It is not capoeira. Oh man. I'll say it. I'll say it. This is probably revealing too much, but who cares? Who
I've
cares?
already-
Yeah, let's do
Oh,
it.
an exclusive.
There's a fighting style that the Russian KGB uses
Too soon. We're
called Sistema.
Sistema.
That's awesome, and it's basically, it's super like pressure pointy and close combat, like quartersy. But Bo's not really doing that right now. She's level fucking 2, so that'll be part of her journey. But I've done a lot of research into that, and it's a cool fighting style that will come into her character later.
That's so
as
cool.
She learns stuff.
Somehow.
At this point, the guard that left earlier, who's been gone for about 15 or 20 minutes or so, comes back with a brisk jog, and there's another figure walking up behind him, also jogging. You can see kind of a lightish, kind of grayish hood and cloak around, and as the figure approaches into the torchlight, pulls back the hood, and you see this long, kind of shoulder-length, curled blonde hair, a very, very delicate-looking elven male, who approaches. I believe I've been summoned, Norda? Yes, sorry. This is Archivist Enoth. He's been in town for a few days, and he comes from the library that knows a lot about a lot of things. I hope that he can help us in this. So, Xenoth, this is, they're calling this thing a fiend. What do you know about this? And he steps closer and kneels down next to the head and...
Jorast. I just whispered Jorast.
Yes, these creatures do frequent Jolhas. Kind of gives him a look over, pulls like a small book out of his side pouch, begins to thumb through it, compares a few things. I'm not a specialist, unfortunately, but this creature is very much I'd say a very dangerous entity from the Far East. I'm surprised it made it this far into civilization before being destroyed. It's a good thing it has been. He now gets a look at everyone over the crew and goes, and are you the ones who slew it?
Oh, well, technically it was Caleb, technically.
Just me.
As the figure looks over, it stops on Bo and kind of smiles.
What's going on over there?
Oh, sorry. Just back issues. I was just stretching my back.
Yes, it was difficult, but I prevailed in the end. The city is safe. What library was that you mentioned?
Oh, I'm an archivist. I'm the archivist of the Cobalt Cell.
Here in town?
No, I'm from Zadash.
Ah.
I'm a bit out of my depth at the moment.
What brings you this far?
Well, I have business. As are...
As soon as Bo gets out of her chains, I grab my stuff and I just leave.
Okay. As you are exiting the stockade in the archway of the doors, right outside, you see another figure standing, hood up, like a short hood with a mantle that stops about midway, bare arms, kind of dark skin, baggy, kind of grayish pants, and it's just there waiting.
What does it look like? What's the mantle?
But you don't recognize any details about it. You just see a cloaked figure waiting, looking right at you.
Is he blocking the doorway?
Is just beyond the doorway. Is not blocking.
Is there another way out?
I mean, you can exit. They're just on the other side of the door. Every other way in, you don't know the stockade well, and all that just leads further into the stockade. And there are other Crown's Guard inside.
Okay, I'm just gonna try and just bolt through.
You're just gonna bolt, full run.
Not run, just like, Irish goodbye.
Walk.
Just
Okay. All right. So
walk with purpose.
as you briskly exit and turn to the left, the figure intervenes, and sidesteps right in front of you.
Do I recognize him?
Armenian block.
No.
Oh, you don't recognize me?
You don't see much of the face. Like the hood is up, and in the night light right now, a little bit of moonlight that's coming, you can see like the edge of features, but the body is muscular but thin. Looks not terribly masculine or feminine, but it looks able and moved with very quick speed to intercept your positioning.
I just go, oh, fuck, and turn around and walk back in.
Okay.
Go join everyone else, and flick off the guy on my way back in.
Okay.
I didn't know what direction you were heading. I've never even asked what you were doing here in the first place.
Oh, I'm just kind of doing like a walking tour, through the continent, just kind of.
A walking tour.
Yeah, just like a backpack vacation, just stretching my legs a little bit, meeting some fine people, kind of discovering myself.
Are you on a vacation?
Yes.
Bring a lot of money with you for that vacation, did you?
What's it matter to you?
I don't believe you're on vacation. Where are you going?
That's your problem.
Beauregard.
Oh.
And the archivist who was there earlier during the trial in the stockade. It's been difficult to find you. Do you mind if we speak?
Hey, Zena! Hey! It's been all about 20 minutes since I've seen you last.
Yes, would you walk with me? I believe we have much to discuss.
Okay.
Don't worry. She'll be returned to you. Just...
You all right with this?
It's cool. I've got it.
We don't care, we're not that attached yet.
All right, then. This way, please, Beauregard. The elvish man kind of gives a bow, and he seems jovial. But as you exit with Xenoth, as soon as you step out into the night air, a second figure flanks your other side, the hooded figure from earlier that had caught you.
I just look at Xenoth and go, really? This is really necessary?
It is only because it's been so difficult to find you. I had to call in a favor. Please, come with us. We have a warehouse.
Do we have to with this guy? He's fucking, look at him. I mean, it's
The voice comes out.
he looks shifty.
The head turns to you in the hood, and you see dark, elvish features on a bald head as the hood comes back. What looks to be a female elf of very lithe form, who turns to you and goes, "Actually, it is a woman, but I'll ignore that."
Sorry, you're super covered. Literally saw no features until right now.
It is fine.
You're very attractive, though.
I would like to ask everyone but Marisha to leave the table, please.
I'm gonna leave my drink.
Trust. Don't die.
This is so scary. This is so nerve-wracking.
So, Beauregard. Quietly, they walk you through the night air, through the northward, to a familiar place. The outskirts of the Bombach family brewery. There's a slight opening on the side warehouse doors where you had previously worked when you first arrived at Trostenwald. And Archivist Xenoth kind of just gestures for you to enter. Please, if you don't mind, my dear.
Really? Is this what got me caught working for these fucking assholes? Ugh. I walk in.
Okay, you walk in. There is the single glowing lantern that is currently hanging from a rope that is strewn across the ceiling of the warehouse that gives kind of a central source of light to the room. It causes the shadows to stretch out very long across the sides.
What is this?
As you walk in and turn around, the door is closed, and the two figures kind of approach. The female elf goes and takes a chair and sets it in the center underneath the lantern. Please, have a seat.
Prefer to stand?
She just sits back about 20 or so feet and leans against one of the large stacks of crates as Xenoth approaches you. Beauregard, you have been what the Archive would call a problematic student. I've had to pull in quite a bit of a favor.
Sorry. Keep going. I'm listening.
Since I have been assigned to your tutelage, overseeing your progress and training, you've shown great promise in many ways. You are a seeker of truth, and you have a keen sense for manipulations and falsehoods. Correct?
Thanks.
Right?
What?
When the Archive took you in at the behest of your family, you agreed to undergo our discipline, our
No.
lifestyle.
I didn't agree to shit. You took me in because I'm assuming my father paid you a pretty nice sum of coin to make sure that you took me in. I'm assuming that coin's no longer coming to the reserve, so why do you care?
Believe it or not, not everyone does what they do in this world for coin. And we see possibility in you. And we wish to prevent you from blowing out your own flame. Your tendencies clash with our teachings, your dislike for authority.
Yeah, I kind of thought you guys hated me. Thought I was doing you a favor by leaving.
At which point the one behind says, your dislike for authority is not a bad thing. It'll keep you alive. Authority should always be questioned. Those with more power than you should be held to a higher standard.
Thank you, authoritative figure that I am unaware of your name.
At which point Xenoth picks up again and says, but the way of the knowing mistress has an order of learning. Your patience is essential to adhering to this path. I know it may not be stimulating at times, but we must prepare your mind if we are ever to prepare your soul.
Yeah, I'd say sorting books and punching brick walls repeatedly can definitely not be stimulating at all times.
Look, I just wish to... At which point the elven woman goes, enough! I've heard enough, Xenoth. You are removed of your responsibility to oversee Beauregard. Xenoth's eyes go kind of wide. This is not a student you can help. What? Return to Zadash. And Xenoth goes, Expositor, I do not think I have been given a fair shot. Please... I know this girl, because I see much of myself in her. You cannot reach her. Go. Xenoth looks hurt, like I apologize that I failed you. And he turns around and heads back towards the warehouse doors, which shift open and close.
The fuck was that?
The woman now steps forward.
I mean, I feel like you kind of made me just look like an asshole, feel like an asshole. Fuck, maybe I'm an asshole.
Maybe you are an asshole. You probably are an asshole. But that's all right, because so am I. Because sometimes you need someone to be an asshole to get shit done.
Being nice never did. So, what are we talking, stranger?
I am Expositor Dairon of the Cobalt Soul.
Dairon?
D-A-I-R-O-N.
A-I-R-O-N.
I take it you've heard of our station through whispers.
Yeah, some people like to call you boogeyman. I figured it was always real. I mean, in my opinion, the best way to hide a secret organization is by having a boogeyman.
We are the hidden strength of the library. You're not wrong. We wade in the filth of society. We weed out the corrupt. We pursue the secrets and evils of the world and expose them to the light.
Wow.
We twist the arm of the unjust until they spill their mysteries. We are the spies. We are the hunters. We are the watchmen to those who rule. We are not kind. We are forthright. We are truth. Do you, Beauregard, want to see the truths of the world?
Ooh, oh God, I'm sorry, I just have this burn in my butt from all the smoke you just blew up my ass. It's just, oh God. Oh, is that like a magical talent?
What's your armor class?
17.
17? Where's the... You suffer 10 points of bludgeoning damage as, out of nowhere, her fist, wham, hits you right across the side of your face.
Oh, it takes me to the ground. That takes me to the ground.
You're unconscious?
No, it just takes me to the fucking
Okay.
ground.
Are you listening now?
Do I have a choice?
Let me be your teacher.
Oh boy, is that what I have to look forward to?
No. But what do you want to do now that that's happened?
I kind of want to fucking punch you back.
Then do it. What's stopping you?
Now you have my attention. And I fucking punch her in the face.
Go for it. Roll for an attack.
Just a straight unarmed, right?
Yep.
12. 12 total. Not good.
She dodges out of the way, and as you move past, kind of plucks you in the back of the head with a knuckle. That hits you, take 1 point of bludgeoning damage. It's a very light tap.
Ow! The fuck? God, my dad used to do that type of shit.
With that, she rushes around at a rapid pace to the front of you, feints with an uppercut, and then goes to elbow you in the side of the head. That is a 16. What's your armor class?
Misses.
Misses.
17.
You manage to duck out of the way of this. And she's like, good, good.
Hang on, I gotta add some points here.
Okay. She's gonna go ahead and use her bonus action to go into defensive stance. Come on.
No, and I just wildly just go into, I'm gonna spend a key point and do flurry of blows and just kind of do a blind haymaker, a second blind haymaker, and then try and backhand with the third.
Okay, go for it. Roll for an attack
Just
for each.
Wildly, recklessly. Okay, first one. Natural 20.
Oh, shit.
Second one. Natural 20.
Two natural 20s in a row?
Who's sitting next to me to confirm this? I swear.
No, I can see it.
I'll take a picture if I have to.
No,
And
I saw it.
And it's natural 17.
Roll damage on those first two.
Okay, so you double the dice, right?
Yeah, so roll the dice, double it.
Okay. That was a 3 and a 2, so 5, so 10 plus 8. 18.
18 points of damage, and then the third strike? That hit?
1, so another 5 points.
All right.
Good
So
fucking thinking of my dad after she just went boop, just like something just right pop in the
Right.
back of my head. Just
what you watch as her defensive stance, she's prepared for it, and as you go to swing, she kind of lets it down in the last second and lets you get some hits in. Wham, wham, but much stronger than she expected. The first one clocks her across the chin, the other one hits her across the temple, and the last
just the
one
wild backhand.
just poof, hits her in the back of the head, and she stumbles for a second and then spins around. You can see a bit of blood trickling out the corner of her mouth, and there's a little bit of a scrape of dirt on the side of her head where you hit. She turns back. Huh. Very good. So you have learned some things in your time. And she quickly advances on you. Hits. 18 hits.
Yeah, I use a key point.
Okay. You take 3 points of bludgeoning damage, 1 per hit. Pop, pop, pop. She's basically going full in with the strike and is just prodding you with these gentle little hits, showing control, showing that she is entirely able to overwhelm you, and she's hitting different places in your body strategically. Because with each hit, you feel this like burst of numbness in those vicinities. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Not great. It's natural 7, so 10 total.
Okay. After each hit, and you kind of gather yourself for a second, she stops and goes, "You are quick, and there is intelligence lying in there. You also are quite nimble at dodging blows. Do you see? With but a few simple strikes, I am able to extract from you everything I need to know about you."
What the fuck? Why can't I feel my hand? What did you do?
You see, brute force has its place, but precision and intent, that can take down the greatest of mountain by poking the weakest point. And now I know where your weak points are.
You don't know shit about me, bitch. And I'm gonna take another attack.
Go for it.
Oh, that's a 3. That's a 9.
Nope. And with each miss, or the first miss, she's going to go ahead and use a reaction to attack you. That's going to be... She can do that. So ducks out of the way and immediately as a reaction smacks you in the head for 1 point of damage, another bludgeoning point. And then is going to spend another key point to do another reaction. She can also do that.
Roll.
I
rolled a 15 to attack for my second.
For your
These
second.
are these 2 attacks, right?
Yeah.
15. So 21.
Yeah, the second one does hit. So she does not get the second attack. So roll damage on that second strike.
Okay. Attacking her with the first one, and then I'm gonna just kind of duck down a little bit and jab her right in the ribs.
All right. What was the damage on that?
8.
8 damage, nice. So, whack, you crack her in the ribs, and the impact actually does catch her off guard. She ends up tumbling 5 feet backward, across the ground, catching herself in the 3-point landing.
I back up, and I'm gonna spend another key point to do my defensive stance.
Okay.
Patient defense.
Patient defense. So you go into that stance that she was in earlier, but holding it for the entirety of this. Her eyes narrow for a second, and you see her kind of looking at all the different points that she struck on you earlier, like she's reading some sort of a docket on what your physicality is. And with that, she doesn't run at you, she runs around you in a circle and begins to jump off the sides of the boxes. Some of the crates that are stacked up nearby, you watch them kind of wiggle as she puts her weight up against them, leaps
Instead
off.
of getting distracted by her, I just like listen to her and kind of look out over at my periphery.
Okay. Eventually, she uses her momentum to climb up the top of their feet and then leap off and then come downward with the knee towards you.
Okay,
She
right
has-
as she comes down, I'm gonna try and I'm gonna use. Oh wait, dodge.
Well,
Go
you-
first.
Well, you're already in your defensive stance, so her attack's a disadvantage against you. So the first strike, 19 and 11. That's still 20 to hit.
Miss. It says patient defense. I can spend 1 key point to take the dodge action as a bonus action on my
Correct.
turn.
Which what the dodge action does is it means any attacks against you have disadvantage.
Oh, cool.
So the first one did hit.
First time
The
you're
second
doing
one does not, and the third one does. So 2 hits still get you.
Okay.
Ba-bam, both 1 point of bludgeoning damage. The knee comes down, and right as it cracks into your head, she kind of shifts to the side and it glides off. And as soon as her body glides off, her back is to yours, and her spinning elbow goes and cracks you in the side of the head, but it stops short, just barely hitting you. She's toying with you at this point.
You said 2 more points?
Yes, 2 more points of bludgeoning damage. Make another Constitution saving throw, please.
11. No, sorry, 12. 12.
This time, as opposed to the pressure points being hit, there was the one smack on the side of your head.
Yeah.
This pain surges through the side of your temple and travels through your spine to all the points that she had hit earlier, and your whole body kind of tenses and seizes for a second. Your vision blurs and your mouth stammers, and you're stunned for the next round. As she lands behind you and walks around to the front of you, you're kind of unable to really do it. You can't move, you can't speak. I can start you on this path. You can return to your wanderlust, your allies. Our kind learns more in the world than in a library. Agree to my instruction, to use the skills I teach you as you return throughout your journeys. And one day you too can become an expositor. You begin to regain control of your senses, and your speech begins to slowly return to you.
Okay. I got hands to you. That was awesome. That was awesome, and I want to know how to do that. You beat me.
Very well. Your first lesson begins now.
Okay. I kind of just
She snaps her fingers,
Oh, okay.
and you watch as Xenoth steps back in, kind of sheepishly. Is it over, my dear? Is it done? Yes. I need you to stand here for a second, Xenoth. I need a body. Let me show you the proper pressure points. Xenoth's eyes go kind of wide for a second. I don't believe... You owe me a favor. I found her for you, did I not? Xenoth kind of sighs and sags his head and takes his cloak off.
I grab that stool and I drag it over.
Now, depending on what you wish to learn, there are different places where you can pull the information from the body.
Okay.
And over the next few hours, working with you, and over time...
Does she beat the shit out of Xenoth?
You both do.
Sorry, Xenoth. Sorry.
But
God, we're such assholes.
assholes that the world needs from time to time.
Yeah. The world does need an asshole. We'll work on that one together. We'll work on that. That's good. That's good.
I'll return to Zadash in the morning. Take what I've taught you.
Okay.
When you feel it's time for more tutelage, return to me. But do not worry. I have an eye on you.
What do I do until then? Do I just
Do what
continue?
you must. Travel the world. Use what I've taught you. Learn about injustice. Those you don't trust, follow them. Bend them. Make them tell the truth and admit their guilt. Find wherever corruption is, root it out, and let the system do its job. If the system isn't doing its job, destroy the system.
Why are you doing this? Why me?
Because a long time ago, I was a wayward girl with no direction, who was angry and fighting at the world. And someone did this for me.
You know, I don't really believe in systems or being a part of them, let alone a system that takes down other systems. Seems almost hypocritical.
Perhaps. But, who knows? Maybe one day you'll find the corruption inside our own.
Touché.
Go, get some rest. Clean up a bit, I think you could use it.
You might have broke my wrist.
It'll heal.
Yeah.
Xenoth, She kind of slaps him awake. His unconscious body on the ground.
Bye, Xenoth. 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 Xenoth.
Oh dear.
Bye.
Goodbye. I have such great pleasure in saying goodbye and good riddance.
Nah, I'll leave.
And you make your way back to the tavern, go back into the room, and exhaustedly pass out.
Man, it was a great night. I had a great night. I haven't had a great night in a long time, you guys. That was a great night.
With the
You
guy.
came in really late.
I'd like to see the other guy.
I might have been accepted into like a secret society. It's kind of secret society business. It's kind of hard to talk about.
Are you allowed to talk about it? Tell us about it.
Okay. No, I can't. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh,
There are these monks. I thought they hated me. Turns out they like me. Turns out they want me kind of like a part of our gang. But it's not really real. And they're like, just keep doing your thing. But like, you're against injustice and seek out truth and break systems.
Is
you are a hero.
Is this one of those dreams where nobody has their clothes on?
You know, if the monks beat you up to make them join your gang, they're not really your friends.
You know, I kind of said something like that to her. It wasn't as black and white as that.
Is that why they did that to your face there? Oh, no, they didn't. Apparently they were pretty, yeah, that was...
I wouldn't say this woman was my friend. I would say she's definitely a badass. I wouldn't say she's my friend. So...
And this woman, was she with the feller that you left with last night?
She was. His name was Xenoth. He's an arcanist at the Cobalt Reserve. A lot of books there.
Cobalt Reserve. He was in the court.
We met him. He was, yeah.
So is this a test of some sort?
I think so.
Did you
think
pass?
so.
I mean, they made you a hero, so obviously you did.
I'm not a hero. That's not what they did. It's more like a vigilante.
That's
like
what I
what we
said, that's what I
said.
said.
Yeah.
This is so great. Can they let us into the secret society too?
No. Can I do an insight check on this guy?
Sure, go for
See
it.
if he's trying to scam us.
Go for it.
Can I use my criminal background?
Sure.
To know if I'm
Right. Marisha said that, not Beauregard.
to know if I'm if he's actually given what he's given.
You know what?
Why is she talking?
Well, make your inside check. Make your inside check.
Just straight insight.
Straight inside.
It's not as good as I would have hoped.
okay, though.
18.
That's pretty good.
Not as good as I hoped. 18.
Yeah,
That's
Level 2.
that's a slam dunk at level 2.
Yeah. Seems on the level. Seems excited that somebody's asking about it. You get the sense that maybe he makes a lot of this either for himself or in hopes that somebody asks about it. And is seemingly excited that somebody in this bumfuck town, in his opinion, would even have interest. And you have once encountered the substance before, and it does seem legit.
Okay. While we're at the stopping by the post office, can I talk to the courier person?
Sure. You see it's a young girl with kind of shortish, brushed hair. She's boyish and freckled and a bit dirty on the edges of her chin. She's in the process of loading up the packs and the horse, and she's wearing like simple leather armor and kind of looks back at you. Can I help you?
Hi. Yeah, I was just wondering if you had any incoming mail for the bomb box. I just said that I would pick it up on the way home, heading over there.
Make a deception check.
Yes.
Wow.
Mail fraud on the way out of town.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Drugs and
20 total. No, 19 total. 19 total. Deception? 19 total.
Yeah. Let me check. Yeah, actually, we've got three small parcels on the way to the bomb box there.
Thank you so much.
No worries.
He's gonna be so like happy to not have to run this errand.
Of course.
Thank you. Bye bye. Oh, sorry. Right. Sorry. Here you go. Bink. And give her a gold.
It's very kind, thank you.
Have a good day.
Hops onto the horse, and then takes off southward.
Mail fraud.
Let's go.
That is actually the worst crime we've committed today.
Placid Kraken wants to know. Stepping up a little bit. Flaccid Kraken has a question for the High Bear Nation. Marisha, Beau's personality seems to be very much meh, fuck it. Is that left over from classic teenage years, built from rich dad problems, or deep backstory that we will eventually find out?
That is a great question and a very observant.
A very observant, flaccid Kraken.
A very observant, flaccid Kraken. Exactly. Once again, yes and yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're man, you're nailing it with the rich dad problems.
Yeah, I kind of picked up on that too, and I was thinking, oh wow, look, daddy issues.
Daddy issues. Yeah. Rich.
What an unfamiliar. No, I love it. That's D&D is always full of daddy issues. I feel like.
Totally.
Marisha, my Rachel has a question for you. Not my Rachel, but someone's Rachel. What brought on the mail fraud? Were you just looking for one last way to get back at people you weren't thrilled about before skipping town, or do you really think you'll find out something useful for the future by looking at their mail?
Both.
Yeah?
Yeah, both.
Do you ever go through
in our
mail?
episode, in our one shot, we dealt with one of the Bombachs, Dimmadon Bombach.
Ooh.
We were calling him Dimmadouche in our one shot.
It's a strong name.
Dimmadon. Yeah.
Dimmadon Bombach.
It was committing mail fraud like baked into your character backstory? Like when you sent a bio to Matt, was it like, first off, you should know that Beauregard loves mail fraud? Was it something you knew?
I learned all of my skeezy criminal tactics from Brian Foster, so you should just ask him.
She read my memoirs of a douche.
Interesting point too. For most of you, Winter's Crest would have little meaning. It's largely celebrated in continents to the west, as it is specific to a historic event that did not happen in Wildmount.
But we're a carnival.
But you're a carnival, so you guys have kind of more of a vast and strange knowledge.
Celebrate everything.
So always says Winter's Crest. It maybe.
Thank you.
Maybe Beau.
Have I ever read about it?
I feel like my mom saw lots of visitors from other places.
It's possible, but just for a bit of information.
I feel like the snooty town that I came from would have like a Winter's Crest festival, kind of like how we have Oktoberfests out here.
Just a drinking
Even
festival.
though we do
There you
no
go.
real
Really get the
business
idea.
having them. Yeah.
Just glug.
Right.
Just lots and lots
Really
of
do
glug.
it?
Oh, God.
You want to make?
It's like shut down in an hour here.
You don't know. Oh no, you've been here. You've probably been here. Not.
I've been here.
You haven't spent a lot of time in Zadash. In fact, probably the last thing you did before your family said come home was here. So you know it a little bit.
Sure.
You've been in the Penta Market. You'll be able to guide the rest of them through the Penta Market if you wanted to.
Do I know that it stays like? Do they keep later hours?
Yeah.
Or
Some of them do. Some of them don't. Some merchants prefer to use the night for their revelry and spending some of what they made for the day.
Sure.
Some know that those who drink and revel sometimes make
Spend
poor
money.
choices in their purchases. So it can vary.
I know,
really wanna
actually, in our game 0, our
Yeah.
session 0 at home, Travis and I, or Ford and Jester, learned a bit about Beau's backstory.
That has not been revealed
That hasn't
on
been
the
revealed
stream?
on the stream. So yeah.
Tell me right now.
No.
Shit,
That's not how the show works. It's not how the show works.
Yeah. Like there's a lot of stuff that
Juicy
came
gossip?
up. There's a lot of stuff that came up in our session 0 that hasn't come up again, that like revealed a lot of random things about our characters.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you excited for those things to come out?
Yeah.
Yeah. You excited for the stuff that you learned about Beau for the rest of the group to learn?
Yeah, Beau's pretty cool.
She seems pretty cool.
I mean, if you're an empire, you've heard of the Cerberus Assembly, yeah?
I know. We're both Empire kids, right?
Yeah.
More so than the rest of the 9.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Empire?
I mean, what?
About the crown?
It is what it is.
Okay. I think it's kind of bullshitty.
Well, that is also true, but it is also is what it is. It's the empire.
What makes it bullshitty?
You hear gestures
Where are you?
underneath the bed.
What are you doing down there?
I was just seeing if anybody left anything good under here.
And?
Did anybody leave anything good under the bed?
No, actually, it's pretty well cleaned and maintained underneath there.
It's pretty well cleaned though, so nothing is here that's good. Not even any bugs or anything.
I mean, just like, look at this. Like, look at how much money is up here compared to elsewhere. Like, it's a lot of control.
Yeah. What are you going to do about it?
Are you going to do something, Bo? I
What?
stick my head up. Are you planning a rebellion?
No, I just want to make a ton of money and drink a lot of booze.
Okay.
Insight check. 1. Thanks, Pike.
I believe you.
All right, we're going to hit the bars tonight.
I think best we can do is just try and be happy in, as you said, this shitty situation that we've all been granted.
Nationwide, yeah.
Yeah. You know, this reminds me of the stuff that I used to read back in school.
School?
Used to, like, make
You read
history.
porn in school?
No, just like old history stuff. You know, it feels like a bored monk wrote this. Real bored monk. It's not about earning each other's trust. Look, I have worked with some skeevy motherfuckers in my day. Very unsavory types. But you know what I trust? That they have their own self-preservation. Right? So, I can trust that these motherfuckers don't want to get caught, and that they don't want to get caught, and that they don't want to die at the end of the day. If you want to do something skeevy on the side, let me know. I will help you out. But when we are all working as a team, I don't want your actions to get me in fucking trouble. What happens if you have a childhood, but it's like barely a childhood because it was supposed to be someone else's childhood, but it was you instead? Is that a childhood?
What happened to you?
Yeah.
I'll get you into the library if you want.
How will you get me into the library?
I like kind of pull back my belt a little bit, like show him the rest of the script and whatnot on the back of my belt in the Cobalt Reserve.
But I just instantly recognize that as the same as the people I spoke to.
As far as the,
Just the on the my trainer's belt
oh yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
the back.
Do you have a tramp stamp back there?
No, it's on my belt. It's on my belt.
It's on the belt.
Like
Had an arrow pointing down.
fancy embroidery on the edge of on the inside of my belt.
Right. You look at it, and there is similar design to some of the outfits and the.
I mean, there's probably enough to go on here. She's
Uniforms.
also dressed in blue. She's basically going,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So-
You pick up on it.
Yeah.
Well, you see, you have to go through me because I'm her booker. So that's actually a conversation that, you know, me and you and the rest of the Mighty Nine can have.
You're Cobalt Soul, aren't you? And Orma goes, oh, please stop this interrogation. I apologize. My friend is very
No, I am
studious.
Cobalt Soul. Yeah.
Well,
Super proud of the work we're doing over there.
you've done much great work and have aided us on many occasions.
And everyone at the Cobalt Soul feels the same about you all at the halls of Erudition.
Ormid Haas is actually laughing. He goes, look,
Snort's a good touch.
I know that there have been tensions in the past, but complete honesty, like, I really appreciate what you do over there.
Thank you.
Beauregard, may I ask you a question to start?
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Empire?
Oh, well, man.
Are you in favor of how things are going here?
No, but I'm not in favor of many things. I don't like a lot of things. kind of have a problem with like authority, and they're like the epitome of authority. I watched my father sacrifice a lot to try and impress those people, so I'm not sure what it was for. Seems like a lot.
Are you comfortable with business as usual?
What? What? How do you mean?
Do you approve of how the Empire is going?
No, I mean, I'm not like super invested in the political spectrum. I just don't want any part of it, so no, I think it could be better. No.
Is she lying to me about being not invested?
I mean, it's up to you if you want to.
No.
As far as I know, yeah, she's being pretty forthright.
Do I have to shout inside check or?
No. It's up to her whether or not she decides if she needs to or not.
So
Marisha is telling you Bo is being genuine.
Yeah.
Oh, not super invested about how the Empire is going?
I think
Everybody's lying.
I have no investment in their success or failure. I think most of them tend to be scumbags who want monetary and influential gain. And I think they treat their poor pretty shitty and they treat their elite pretty great. And I think that's sucky. Yeah, I think they're garbage people. But Molly thinks I'm a garbage person.
Trash person.
Sorry, a trash person. So if they're garbage people, I'm their rare cousin, the trash person.
And I would like my reading on if that is genuine or not. Yeah.
Yeah. I watched my father sacrifice a lot to get where he was, and I'm not sure if it was fucking worth it. So the Empire doesn't lean favorably in my spectrum, but I also don't care if they really live or die or whatever. Yeah, she was willing to go along with it until Caleb started suggesting holding Callie overnight. And then just due to stuff that Bo has dealt with in her backstory that unfortunately no one knows about yet.
Just tell us all.
Right
now.
Yeah, you know what?
Give me the exclusive.
If you tell us your whole backstory, I'll tell why Frumpkin is so special.
Oh, wow. D20s or die, Marisha wants to know. It seems Bo has a pretty clear problem with authority figures.
Yes.
Were Caleb's latest actions too similar to those with authority who Bo has despised in the past? Any connection there?
Yes.
Okay.
Ding. Very much so. You
Interesting.
kind of pretty much nailed it on the head.
Well, I didn't. D20s or die did.
Yes.
They rolled a natural 20 with that question.
Tell me something. How did you know about this place?
Popper Duke?
Yeah, how did you know that the gnomes here get down with a funky, fresh rhythm all night?
The job that I had before I met up with you guys in Zadash, you just kind of, information passes through. You hear things.
What job?
I worked at a library. The Cobalt Soul Library.
What's that? What's a cobalt soul?
It is a faction of monks.
What kind of a faction of monks?
It's not slurring her words.
Are you evil? Are you a bad guy?
No, I don't. I hope not. I think it differs from day to day, depending on what I'm doing. Do you think I'm a bad guy?
I don't think so.
That's all that matters, right?
But I don't know. You seem to know a lot about a lot of things. And sketchy things, too.
That has to do with the job that I had before the job that I had.
What was that job? I thought you grew up, didn't your parents make wine or something? What was the...
Yeah.
What was this? So what was they got a job? So wait, little town's girl her parents are wine makers. Now you're a brutal assassin martial artist who can kill anything. What happened in between those two things?
Yeah, it's definitely something missing, right?
Yeah, right?
Let's just catch up with the others while we walk and talk. Sure. My dad was super protective, and I was kind of an asshole and rebelled a lot, so...
You? No.
Yeah. You know, so when interesting and different people would pass through my hometown, then, started making some connections, started getting involved in some mainly illegal trading.
Like what? What kind of stuff?
I got in really big trouble from my parents because I started siphoning his cases of wine and selling them underground for half the cost without tariffs.
You were bootlegging your old man's hooch?
Yes, I was.
Industrious.
Wow.
Yeah. On top of other things, that was kind of like my big denouement, you know? I don't know. I just kind of grew to hate the town that I was in and the system that my father was a part of, and so everything...
Is he a bad person?
He wasn't a bad person. I think he just had bad direction. I think I don't know. He could have been a good dad. Man, he was a shitty dad and a good businessman.
So you took matters into your own hands?
Yeah.
And got in trouble and was sent off to boarding school?
Yeah, kind of.
With monks who are librarians and taught you how to kill with your fists?
One day he found out about what I was doing after I'd already gotten in trouble for, you know, like a little bit of mild extortion and a little bit of trading, a little bit of trafficking. So I think he was already pretty irritated with me, and then he found out about my smuggling scheme with his wine, and one day he called me down into the living room, and there was a whole group of monks and people in black, and I tried to fight them off, and they grabbed me and they drug me away.
Wait, this was not by choice. You were abducted by monks?
My dad paid to get me abducted by monks, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He wasn't very proud.
Well, are you okay?
Sure. Great.
Was it hard?
Yeah, I mean, there were elements that were hard, but everyone has had hardships, right? What's it matter? And besides, he sent me off to the monks. I think he tried to, he was hoping that they were gonna beat my indiscretions out of me. And instead, I think all of the things that the monks, that my father saw in me, that they hated, the monks saw as a potential advantage. So, in a weird way, I think he kind of, it might have been the nicest thing he ever did for me.
I've never thought of you as an optimistic person, but that's a very positive way of looking at it.
I mean, I still never really want to see him again, and I don't think he wants to see me again either, so. In fact, he told me he didn't want to see me again. Yeah, so it's good. Yeah.
At this point, you guys have caught up with the rest of the crowd as you guys have kind of meandered your way and look up, and you can see the rest of your party has been kind of wandering the street.
But I do have a nice little wine skin that I kind of keep reserved.
Oh.
My family's wine, if you want to taste.
I would very much.
Toss, not the wine.
I'll just take a little sip in case we have to do the hour of power later.
Good wine.
It's a pretty damn good wine.
Wow. That's amazing.
Anybody else want a sip of my heritage?
Marisha. Oh, this person is a big fan of yours. Just here for Marisha.
Oh, hi.
Even though it started out with an abduction, did Bo prefer living with the monks to living with her family?
Yes, in time.
In time?
In time, yeah. I think it took several months. But yeah, like Bo, she didn't really tell this to Not yet, but it's not that big of a spoiler. Bo wanted to like learn how to fight and specifically like fence as a kid growing up.
Yeah.
And her dad was like, nah. So I think, like I said, in a weird way, that's why she does feel like it kind of almost ended up being the best thing that he ever did for her, even though he doesn't clearly probably would see it that way. Or maybe he does, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she was rebellious through and through for a bit, but eventually I think realized, oh, these people can help me become a better me at what I am actually good at and what I want to do.
Yeah.
That felt pretty good last night. Helping somebody
Oh, yeah.
do something good.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I don't know
I
how.
get the sense that you have bigger plans than that even. Cobalt. Monk. I get a sense.
Honestly, I don't really have a lot of plans. My entire life has been plans being made for me. So it's kind of nice not having plans. I ran away from the Cobalt Soul and, you know, I have ideas. I don't know if ideas would count as plans. I'll tell you one of my best lies, one that I was most proud of.
Before I pass the drink.
Just because that was a pretty good one.
That's usually how this rolls.
Yeah. There was a politician in the town that I grew up and didn't like very much.
Politician?
Didn't like his wife either. Wanted to find some dirt on him. Pretended to be a house hand for them, a little handyman. Found some dirt, figured out that they were cheating on each other, and destroyed their relationships and their lives. Maybe I shouldn't be proud of that, actually.
No, I'm very impressed, actually. You are a good friend to have and a terrible enemy to make.
Yeah. I'll take a room for myself, please.
All right. So for a singular room rate for the night, that will be 1 gold, 5 silver.
And I arrange for companionship and drinks.
Any preference of companion? We have a spectrum to choose from.
It feels weird, like going and picking someone out. That feels.
Would you
kinda
prefer
dirty.
to surprise?
Yeah, just make her hot, please.
That is a preference. Very well.
Beauregard.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you? You know an awful lot about me now. You are not some youth throwing themselves on drink, as you tried to claim when we first met. You are clearly tied to something greater than that. You are not some fuck-up. Who are you?
It's funny, I thought you were gonna say something like, man, the Empire is sure fucked up. And I was gonna be like, right? I was just thinking the same thing.
Well, that's
it's just like what Jester said, we can't read each other's thoughts.
It's a separate issue. You were not. We're very different, but not completely. And I would feel a little safer if I knew a little more about you.
Well, you know, I'm a monk of the Cobalt Soul. I kind of actually dumped a lot of this on Knot, which you kind of asked. I was a little tipsy.
Okay.
I was feeling vulnerable in the moment. It doesn't happen often. She kind of caught me in a perfect window.
Her or you?
Knot did. Wait, both? Never mind.
Right.
I never intended to be a monk of the Cobalt Soul. My father sent me away to the monastery when I wasn't what he wanted me to be. And I was kind of a dick. So.
Why are you out here in the wastelands?
I ran away from the Cobalt Soul, and they gave me a kind of like a raise in rank because of it, so that was kind of cool. Really just further instilled my rebellion, to be totally honest.
And now you what? You want to follow the orders of the Cobalt Soul? You want to do whatever they ask you to do, or is there something you want to do? Or why are you running around with criminals than me?
My whole life was dictated by establishment that I didn't have a lot of control over. And the Cobalt Soul sort of has this underlying faction that helps uproot corrupt establishment. And I know, I scoffed at the idea of being a part of a system that is supposed to take down systems. Doesn't really make sense, but you know, maybe you, if anyone, can understand the idea of fighting fire with fire. That's why I'm doing this.
This is all orders you are following?
No. They just want information. I'm out in the world, at the ground level. People like us tend to have our fingers on the pulse of what's being said around the city sometimes. It's not necessarily something that a monk in full accolades can always accomplish.
Okay. So, a little bit of official business, a little bit of your own personal axe to grind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've said it before, but I'm sorry we weren't here to help. We haven't known each other that long, but you've shown us incredible kindness and care. And I'm very grateful for that. I will return the favor if it's ever needed.
After a while, you just kind of lose track of favors. It's okay.
I've never had many favors done my way.
It wasn't a favor, though. You guys are the only friends I've ever had. So, yeah, most people in my life just kind of leave. And when I'm not driving away, well, guess I should probably try and start keeping people around at this point. Do I know Tubo?
You've seen Tubo, and you've not directly interacted because Tubo's, much like Dairon, kind of works on a higher level, and you hadn't quite garnished attention beyond just being that brat for a while.
Okay. Have you ever been to the Menagerie Coast? How far south have you been?
No, I have never been out of the Empire.
Yeah, me neither.
Well, she's kind of like, oh, cool. And Bo's never had friends that lasted this long. So, yeah.
The friendships had lasted longer. They all died like Molly.
She.
Oh. What? Danny just wrote that on here.
What? You lie.
It says, I made sure to mention this specific thing, and
just to put into perspective, when she says friendships that lasted this long, she means like 2.5 months.
Yeah.
Dang. Really?
And y'all say I'm bringing the sadness.
Yeah. Well. Somebody has.
You saw Bo when she showed up at the campaign. She's not the kind of person that makes long-term friendships.
Yeah. You kind of sucked at the beginning.
All of Bo's friends were people who worked on the criminal underground who were older than her, who were always passing through the town. So she hung out with them for local jobs that they would pull. She was like their local hire. Like, you know, when we go to Indianapolis and we hire local, you know, camera guys, she was like that person traveling through.
Yeah.
So she's only had friends for the weekends that people were in town, and then they may be like, cool, thanks for helping with the gig, peace, and then we'll keep rolling through.
Yeah.
So those were all, and then sometimes they would come back through, and she'd be like, dope, you're back in town, Jane. You want to hang out, Jane? You know, I don't want only if you're free, though.
Right.
I think you turned into Jake Peralta for a second there.
Yeah.
I'll totally drive to Santa Monica to see you.
Yeah, I'll drive. It's not that far. It's only an hour and a half for me. You know, I'll drive to see you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was kind of Bo. It was kind of Bo.
Makes sense.
I'm Leslie.
Sure.
Tracy?
Better.
Tracy.
Totally Tracy.
Okay, I look
Yep.
like a Tracy?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm Tracy from Zadash.
Okay.
And, you know, my parents are paying for just a little bit of a spring break so I can, like, go find myself before I go into college, right? Before I go to uni.
You know this
No, is
person,
this a thing?
don't you? This is somebody.
I'm just trying to. I'm trying to figure it out because if I'm just me, I'm just going to be an asshole. So I have to be somebody else.
That is very observant. Yeah.
I need a shower. I need a shower.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. I think it was something deep down inside of me that I actually really hate. That is there. It's like maybe always been there. Even I just have kind of had to. Let's go. I don't want to talk about that anymore.
That's okay.
Inside of you.
Who the fuck is Tracy?
We talked about it when we got home after the episode. I was like, where did that come from? And she was like, and I'm sure she'll talk about it next time she's on here, but she was like, yeah, I mean, Bo is channeling all the women that she couldn't stand growing up back home. And I was like, yeah, no, that makes sense, you know, based on her history and general personality.
So she grew up with the cast of The Hills?
Apparently.
So for her, I think she tapped into that personality of girls that she went to at whatever prep or boarding school that her parents spent too much money on to send her to, and yeah.
Otherwise, I feel like Caduceus is not going to be the last person that thinks about.
Walks away from us.
Yeah.
I've driven most people in my life away from me. Hearing him talk like that, it's not the first time I've heard those things, and I don't want to drive you guys away.
Yeah,
I don't want us to drive each other away.
Marisha, Faye Lesbian wants to know.
Yes.
Someone with the screen name Faye Lesbian asking Marisha a question. That sums up Talks Machina in the best way possible.
I love my life.
Bo's reactions during the hair compliment confusion seemed more vulnerable than usual. Is that a result? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a result
Sure.
of her closeness / friendship with the Mighty Nine?
Stop me.
Shut up, Danny.
Never.
How Bo's relationship with emotional vulnerability changed over the campaign, if at all?
Sure. Yeah, no, I mean, I've kind of mentioned it before. A lot of Bo is a wall.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there is still this piece of her where she had this upbringing of probably being put in pageant dresses and told to be a lady and
Did she have a showbiz
make sure you
mom?
brush your hair, like your hair is a fucking rat's nest.
Right.
My dad told me that all the time. Brush your hair, please brush your hair. For the love of God, brush your hair. So I think there was a little bit of that, like, yeah, your hair's fine. And it's like, do I look ridiculous?
Right.
Because I think at the end of it, Bo is like, do I look like a fucking joke?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's
If that
interesting.
makes sense.
It makes perfect sense.
But yeah, a little bit of a emotional vulnerability that I think she let peek through, where normally she would have responded with like, "Go fuck yourself,"
Right.
or a punch to the face. And
Yeah.
instead, she was like, "Wait, what is that? Do you actually care about me?"
wasn't
Okay.
making fun of your hair either.
Yeah, it's a little true, but not as intense as you think.
Are there others like you?
Monks?
No, like
Expositors?
Yeah, Delta Force.
Yes.
How do you know who's who? Do you have a sign? Secret handshake?
Kind of new to it all, to be honest.
guys are really cool.
And how old's Bo again?
Early 20s.
Why did you guys choose those ages? What, because that's, you know, younger than you, but not by a ton.
I think there's still so much more room for development.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
You know, we're actors and artists. We want to leave
No
room
shit.
to grow.
Right.
Yeah, I remember what I was like when I was that age, and I was cocky and confident, and it also made sense for Bo's background.
Right. Right.
So yeah.
Listen, I just wanted to talk to you for a moment. I'm not really good at this sort of thing, but you know, about what you said last night. About being a good liar. You're right. You really are a good liar.
Thanks, Bo.
Yeah. I think it takes one to know one. And I think being a liar means when I know you're not. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And when you are. Look, we all get sad. I just want you to know that. And I haven't told you really any of this, but I also had kind of a lonely childhood. So, yeah, I didn't have a lot of friends. My father was very protective because of certain things that he believed. And so I wasn't allowed to have a lot of friends.
Oh.
Really any friends.
You could have used the traveler in your life too, then.
Maybe. Maybe I would have turned out a little bit more like you. I admire that in you. You know, in my loneliness, I just got angry and turned to bad things. But in your loneliness, you turned to creativity.
Yeah.
And I think that's beautiful. I really do.
I'll tell you a secret.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm angry too.
Really? I don't think I've ever seen you angry.
It's a sight to behold.
I'd like to see it someday.
Someday. I'm sure you will.
And I'll be proud of that too. Anyway, I know you like to look for friends, and yeah, I don't know if I'm like best friend material. That might be like a lot of commitment, especially with my commitment of being first mate.
It's a really big, yeah. You already have a lot on your plate.
It really is, you know. So, but you know, you don't have to look far for a friend. Anyway, I'll leave you to it.
I give her a hug from behind as she's walking away.
Just hug her back from behind.
Thanks, Bo.
Love you, Jess.
I love you too.
Don't stay up too late.
Okay.
I've kind of lightly mentioned before that Bo didn't have a lot of friends. She basically didn't have any friends. So I think, you know, as cold and stern as she is, these are the first real people who haven't abandoned her or been like, yeah, you're a bitch, fuck off. So
Written
yeah,
her off because she made such a bad first impression, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
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 And Bo tries hard to make bad first impressions because she's just going to assume that everyone's going to hate her anyway, so she might as well control that situation.
Yeah.
So yeah, she was a deliberate asshole to Molly. She was a deliberate asshole to Caleb and Ford in several points. And
Yeah.
You
they
were
didn't
never
push her
an
away.
asshole to Jester.
I actually, yeah, you were always my favorite. Yeah, but she had a, yeah, Jester had a.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I know. Special.
What a
I don't know if you know that about me, but yes. Yes.
Yeah, I think Bo felt a little protective of Jester. It was like big sister nature in a way.
Yeah.
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 Oh, that's cool. I didn't think about it that way, but that makes sense. Yeah.
Even though she doesn't need
No.
protecting.
No, she's got an invisible friend to do it for her. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Marisha, Jay Not Now wants to know, Bo has been really excited about her position as the first mate and loves bringing it up. Why is she Why is she so proud of the title, and has she ever had responsibility like that before? We got there.
The responsibility is definitely a good. They noticed. I think she's always wanted a chance to prove herself.
Yeah.
Not just to her peers and to other factors like her parents and things of that nature, but also to herself. So when that kind of happened, I realized I was like, okay, if he's the captain, I want this.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. It just seemed natural for her to try and prove herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was backing away from the action, but seeing how things are turning south, I start pushing back towards Miss Lionett through the water.
I just don't know where the urgency lies.
I have no desire to go rushing back to my hometown. I think I'd prefer to go back to Zadash and check in personally.
Even with an army bearing down on it? You have family there.
Now, what are we gonna do to stop an invading army?
Warn your folks, get them out of harm's way. No?
I don't know. I honestly don't even know if they'd believe me if I told them to run. So, what's the point? Maybe we could just better, organize our efforts together in a larger city like Zadash, or go check in on Nott's family first.
Bo, I want to honor what you've said, but you only get one family. Are you sure that whatever's transpired between you is too much to drop a note?
I got a note from my parents when I was at the Cobalt Reserve, at the Cobalt Soul, and it seemed very clear that they didn't really want me to come back. My mother actually ended up birthing a son while I was at the monastery. So they got what they wanted, got rid of me, and thought that it would be best if we all parted ways. So I took that letter as a goodbye and decided to continue on my way.
You have a brother now.
I have a baby brother that I've never met.
No other siblings.
Nope.
Aren't you at all concerned that he might be an innocent in all this? He has your blood running through his veins.
I don't know, I guess I never thought about it like that. I never met the kid. It's hard to feel concerned about something you have no real personal connection with, whether they're your blood or not.
Well,
I don't know.
maybe just think about it. Him, at least. Could just give the kid a chance.
Yeah.
You'll know what to do.
I
have some things.
I tell Jester this. My parents, when they were trying to form me into like a functional member of society, thought it would be a good idea if I got into jewelry making. So I have a jeweler's kit.
So you could maybe like crush some
I could
jewels?
crush gems. Yeah. Just throwing that out there.
I'm going to just throw something out, too. People have been asking me online why Caleb knows her last name. I tossed it out in-game, speaking in third person. I mean, I'm always talking in an accent because I enjoy doing it, but I said it in third person. I saw it written somewhere and just absentmindedly dropped it in the game. Caleb does not know her name. He didn't call. Thank you. Bo's last name. He didn't say it to her. He didn't say anything. I was just narrating third person, so it was just a slip up. Anyway,
yeah,
there you
that
go,
makes
guys.
sense. Marisha,
Yes.
Cobalt Lesbian.
Oh.
You're not gonna believe this. Has a question for you.
Mm.
Bo's you left comment seemed to say a great deal about her relationship with Dairon and
Sure.
how them leaving affected her. Dairon appears to be the only authority figure that she has deep respect for. Why is that? The only authority figure she has deep respect for.
She was the first authority figure who didn't kind of give up on Bo and kind of like toss her to the side and think that she was too difficult to be worth investing time into. So yeah, she definitely has a deep connection, but I mean, Bo also deals with abandonment issues from her parents tossing her over to the monks and kind of giving up on her. So yeah, I mean, it's a little abandonment issues coming through.
Interesting.
Well, you know what my mom used to always tell me?
No.
If you ask, the worst they can do is say no and throw you in an imperial prison and you'll never see your family again. That's the worst that could happen.
That's the worst they can do.
That's happened to at least 3 of us.
I think
The worst they can do.
if
As for Love for the Empire, I wouldn't say Love for the Empire either. Like I said, she's very personal with who she really cares about, and kind of herself.
Yeah.
So
makes sense. It's on a personal level.
I wouldn't say it's as much disdain as Caleb seems to emit.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's a little more indifferent, I guess would be a word for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, she knows how like shitty the Empire is, and she's watched her father also be like a loyalist and the effects that's taken on her. So yeah, she's like, fuck these guys, but she's not like, I want to see it all burn.
Yeah.
No offense.
What age would you put yourself at?
Oh, I'm 24.
All right. Okay. So still in the prime.
The things you can do.
Sure.
That's
Plenty of people in my family can do things like this or do this or have done this. I'm pretty typical.
Mm-hmm. Can you follow a god if someone else tells you to? Or they say this is what we're doing now? So that's all the monks did to me. I was forced to leave behind the first real person I loved as well. So.
you did.
Yeah. Her name was Tori. She was a little bit older than me, you know? So it was like...
Oh, you like the older ones, yeah?
She kind of showed me the ropes. She was great. She was my literal partner in crime for a little bit. And also who I got busted with. So we were both arrested together. And the next morning, my dad was there and busted me out of jail. Paid bail, and I think made some sort of arrangements with the guards. I don't know, who knows what happened to her. I don't think she's dead. She was one tough bitch, so. But I'm sure she hates me for forever. Wherever she is. But anyway, it's not not anywhere close to what you experienced, but I've got some little shred of understanding, I guess.
Yeah. You know, leaving a loved one behind is still it's a shitty feeling across the board.
Yeah.
You know? Did you ever think about looking her up again?
No. No. Like I said, I'm pretty sure she would punch me on the face
Yeah.
upon sight.
I'm sure she doesn't hate you, Bo.
Ken Fagan says, in this episode, Bo spoke about her lost love with Tori Yasha. What kind of impact has this had on Bo's attitude towards love and relationships in her life so far?
To not have them.
Just the what not to do, huh?
Yeah. This part, once again, this was actually a little bit of insight into why, like, there's walls and Bo pushes people away, and like most relationships she's had have gotten kind of fucked up in some way, which she like has rooted back to her. So she's wary of them.
Maybe I should not go with that one.
I feel like I had a clown come to my birthday once that was named like something McFancy Pants, so I don't know.
So it's been said before.
By no one taken seriously.
Oh.
It's been a
Why did you
fascinating
decide to do
experiment.
that? Why hold back until? I mean, obviously it's a character choice, but why?
Yeah, see, I was just kind of experimenting with this character choice that she would value knowing things but not divulging them. And that, like, as soon as, the more you tell people, the more they have to work against you. And that's from a last name and then forth, especially in Bo's line of work. Or what she was doing before with her criminal past. So.
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, we'll see. And then it's also kind of like I'll like sometimes drop hints and see if people want to take the bait. But you know, like when people tell you in the real world, like, don't worry about it. People really don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Bo is kind of like a living, walking example about that. Like, there's a lot that I haven't told because like it hasn't been relevant and.
Not really her style to just jump out there.
And she's just not gonna, yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Jester will jump out and tell you shit. You know, Caduceus might jump out and tell you shit. But yeah, Bo's just gonna, she feels more powerful if she knows more about you than you know about her. That's how she keeps like the upper hand.
Yeah.
So.
That's scary.
That is.
Mind game.
And you said,
Let's try it.
I don't know, but I think bats are pretty strong, right?
How smart are they?
Bats are actually pretty smart. I tried to convince my dad to get me one. I wanted a pet bat, and he wouldn't let me.
You read lots of books, so I trust you.
You wanted a pet bat?
Yeah,
Who
this
didn't
was
want
after I asked for the snake.
You went, okay.
Oh, Mr.
Your vision pulls back into the clouds, dark at night. You can see the stars for a second before there's a thrust of movement. You feel yourself get momentarily almost jostled from the movement before you are brought into what looks to be a meeting of mountain and hills. You can see Yasha, and just beyond the periphery, another figure, herself cloaked and hooded, the secondary figure cloaked and hooded, and a large looming cloaked and hooded figure moving forward. They're right at the base of these rocky mountains, among what looks like grassless rolling hills. The soil nearby strangely dotted with multicolored minerals and odd scrub brush.
Does it sound familiar? Does it look familiar with any location that I've been to or seen?
Nothing you've been to or seen. As in watching, you know, they kind of stop for a second. Yasha pulls her head back and kind of looks off in the distance. Make a perception check for me.
God damn, I told you. 7.
7, okay. Puts the hood back up, and they continue walking forward. A few moments later, you hear a and they all kind of move out of the way, and you can see a little bit of spray coming. And kind of changing your perspective, there looks to be a heavy plume of steam rising nearby, and a geyser of hot water that suddenly sprays from a pool-like vent
not far from them across the ground. They kind of move around slightly. This kind of area has some sort of geothermal activity to it. They're quietly just walking in under the cover of night.
Can I see Yasha's eyes?
This would be, yeah, it's the same time of night you guys would be in. Yeah, or at least it's night where they are, and it's night where you are.
It's not like a different side of the world.
It doesn't seem to be, at least in the north-south region. Of course, night can fall quite a distance on a continent.
Yeah. Same continent.
So, same continent you gather. Unfortunately, with the perception roll you made, you can't see much else. You just can make out the fact that it is Yasha. About 10 minutes of them perusing this journey, your spell fades, and the scry loses its anchor.
They're on the move. There were geysers.
Geysers?
Do we know of anywhere that has that kind of...
Have I read anything about the
There
geography
were
of this
rocky
continent?
mountains and
both of
hills
you.
that had no grass on them.
There aren't any geysers in Rex syndrome, are there?
So you would have advantage on
Guidance.
this, Beauregard.
I would have advantage.
You would.
Guidance.
And guidance.
Both of you.
Both those?
No, she just has advantage.
Okay, I got a 19.
Oh, you had guidance though from him.
Yeah.
I got a 20.
26.
Whoa. Okay. It makes sense, because one of the regions that you're very familiar with
Oh no.
is the city of Kamorda.
Come
Near the base of Mount Mentiri, there's something about the mountainous region around it that has, since it was founded, given rise to a bunch of strange geothermal activity that has altered the landscape to where the vegetation that grows there, the few kinds that do naturally, are very alien to the rest of the empire. And that's also why a lot of the vineyards there are so sought after, because only certain types of wines and liquors can be made based on the topography surrounding Kamorda.
Rum Kiln
That's
Hills?
one place you know of which this type of activity is familiar, and you're very familiar with it because it's where you grew up.
Just.
Is it the only place, Bo, that's like that?
There are other places like that.
No. Yeah, there. I mean, I wouldn't imagine so. Bo just kind of like wipes away tears. Why would they go to Komorda?
Is there a cobalt soul there?
No.
Is there anything important for the empire there?
No, it's a wine town, and it's a little upper class. It's like a suburbs of
Is it on the way
Maybe they're on their way somewhere.
to Zadash? Or is it away from Zadash?
What about outside?
neighboring Zadash.
Oh,
It's
they
a
wouldn't be
few
on their
hours.
way. They can
No, they're
teleport
moving-
anywhere.
They're moving west, and
Yeah, it's west of Zadash.
just so you know, it is the same, roughly the same distance from here to Zadash it is to Kamorda.
And these geysers, they're not in town, are they? They're outside of the town you come from?
There's a lot of mineral-rich soil and geothermal activity around there, which is why there are certain grapes that grow really well and make really great wine.
Maybe they just
Lionett
are
wine.
thirsty.
Lionett wine.
I don't know where they would be moving west.
Holy shit! I just realized Lionett wine. We have that.
Yeah, we do.
Wow.
We do? What do you mean we do?
I mean, we have that at home.
Oh, you have that at home. We
Yeah,
don't
they
have it
sell
with
it
us,
at
right?
the.
It's my family's wine.
Wow.
Your family is like a wine family?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Well off?
Yep.
Oh.
Dad was a poor bastard, and he got a hint from someone to go and buy property, and his farm property that was more or less derelict, couldn't get anything to grow on it, and a fortune teller told him to buy the property and grow grapes on it, and that it would make him rich.
Does he tell that story all the time?
Is it printed on like the back of the label on the wine? Because it's like,
No.
it's a cute story and tourists really love it.
He tries to keep it on the down low.
Inside family law.
Inside family family lore.
They're in Comorda and not in the hills that surround it, yes?
Well, the winery is kind of based on the north side of Comorda in the hills, yeah.
Trying to be not seen, or they were trying to be quiet?
They didn't. I mean, they had their hoods up.
Can I think of any reason why they would be in fucking Comorda? Is there anything there that would make them...
There's wine families. There's a few competing ones there that you're aware of. There are standard small-scale businesses and guilds for any sort of, town to be maintained and for people to live there with the creature comforts that can keep a populace happy. But it's not a political center. It's not. There isn't a particular thing that stands out to you as to having relevance to their journey.
At this map, Deerstalk is the nearest large city. It's south of there. Is there any sort of kobold knowledge hub there?
I don't think so in Deerstalk.
Deerstalk? Mm-mm.
They're traveling west from Zadash. The only thing further west from Comorda is the mountains, Pride's Call.
Is there anything in known history that predates the farming of the land for wine?
Based on your history check, I mean, there's a lot of things that predate this entire region. As far as there being previously existing societies that were wiped out during the calamity. Most of that information is still being recovered via what ruins are beginning to be discovered and delved into. Much of the society that exists here, the Empire, was based on a long crashed, Age of Arcanum mobile country, essentially.
Okay.
But nothing seems to really stand out to you as far as specifically that location.
Is there any reason you would not want to go there? Just weighing our options. Not saying I want to go there.
I think if we're going to consider going there, we need a little bit more hard proof that that is exactly where they were. I mean, you said there's geysers all over the place, right?
Not all over the place.
We should probably scry again tomorrow.
Do I know of any other place off the top of my head that would have guys?
In the Empire, generally no. Like the region of Mount Mentiri and that part of the mountain range there of the Sirius Mountains is the stranger part of that area because of the way it's changed the landscape. Like even north of that, Pride's Call, while it's a different type of geothermal activity, the hills and a lot of the plants that grow there are changed or different, which is how a lot of that culture is based on, especially the Pride silk that is farmed from the silkworms that live there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, nothing in the Empire that catches your mind. As far as history goes, there are offshoot places near like strange ocean thermal vents, but those are, you've heard of them, but you don't know any specific locations that you've traveled to.
So you can describe, and I can try to send them a message, or I can try to scry on them and see if they're okay.
Do you have any ability to sketch?
Do it right now. Draw a picture of your parents.
Here, no, you describe them to me, and I'll try to draw a sketch, like like a criminal thing. You describe them, and I'll try to draw what I think they look like, and you can tell me if I get it right. Like a police sketch.
All right.
Face shape. Long.
My dad's a little bit shorter. He, he's
Make
got
a charisma check.
darker hair, a little pudgy, but like a rounded face. He's got kind of like a
Charisma
widow's
check.
peak.
This is how good you are at conveying the details.
Brown eyes. I got my blue eyes from my mom. Just straight charisma. Natural 20.
All right.
First one.
Now you go ahead and
Long while.
make a dexterity check.
Guide me.
Yeah, no, you gotta do it. You can do it.
Which
I'm
dice
scared of.
failing
I'm
this
scared of all of them.
Wait, let it speak to you. Go.
Wait. A small little mote of white light floats up from my eye. Into you. Fortune's favor.
Yeah.
Okay.
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 Just use
I should just use it right now, just in case. Woo! Plus dexterity.
Good.
So that's 22, but I'm gonna try the advantage.
Okay.
Okay, 22.
Okay. It's not bad. I mean, it's, given the circumstances that you're literally just describing out of thin air, and she sketches it, like you can look at it and go like, there's some things there that.
Do you want me
have
to
a bit of
ice
familiarity to
farther
it.
apart, close it together? What kind of?
He's got kind of like a unibrow that he's let go in his later
okay.
years. He
Alright. The shape of his lips, is it close to your lips?
Yeah, lips are kind of almondy shaped. Yeah.
Okay.
That perpetual frown. Yeah.
Yeah, he's cranky like me.
Okay.
Knowing my dad, he's a little superstitious. He gets a little spooked when it comes to that type of stuff.
Then he's gonna be nice and spooked.
Yeah. Yeah. He used to ramble all the time that he thought some witch or woman was gonna come back and like collect a piece of his fortune or some shit.
No.
I don't know.
Oh no.
So, yeah.
What have you done?
That's useful information.
Oh my God.
For future communication.
Someone's probably not sleeping well for a while.
That's great.
Yeah. I figured he was just crazy, so I kind of hope he's squirming a little bit.
I think he will be.
Our first question is from our Divine Ashes. It's for Marisha.
Ooh.
This was probably the strongest emotional reaction we've seen from Bo since Molly died. Is Bo surprised at her own concern for her family? Is she afraid of one part of her life being so close to a separate part?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. She's still kind of running from a lot of her past and not trying to confront it. So when things happen that smash it in her face, it kind of throws her off a little bit. And as much as she tries to not care, of course, if you hear about, it doesn't matter how far away from home or how long separated you go. If you hear a tornado touchdown in your hometown, you're going to be like, oh, fuck.
Right.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of that, but she's still kind of weaving and bobbing and weaving.
Interesting. The reaction was not to bolt for it, though, right?
Yeah, because she's still. It's like too into the magnets. The ones that push the sides that deflect, not the side,
Repel.
not that one.
Yep. Polar opposites.
Reverse math.
Yeah, you're the
No.
standout jock athlete, and your parents are computer programmers.
Yeah, look, business moguls. Go
Yep.
be a
That's
lawyer, be a
They
doctor.
run the yacht club.
Yes, yeah.
The yacht club. That's funny.
No,
Marisha, Ariel Van Zant wants to know, had you already decided that Bo's dad was a superstitious dude, or was that a spur-of-the-moment decision?
No, that's part of the backstory.
Okay.
Yeah. That goes into like the butterfly ripple effect that Bo feels like is the result on where she is
Yeah.
and why she is the way that she is. So yes, no, that was part of it.
Good callback to that great Ashton Kutcher film, too. Marisha, distract us from the elderly person next to you falling apart. Tabinator 17. Is Thoreau's encounter with the fortune teller tied to how Bo felt about Molly and/or why she took Molly's tarot cards when he died?
Very astute. You have a good eye, Tabinator.
You answer. You
Which
asked another
one?
question. Oh,
We're almost out of time.
Okay. How about
I like-
number 20?
I like number 20. Marisha,
No.
Fantasy Queer Eye, my second favorite Netflix show. Is there a reason Bo didn't say anything about her mother when dropping the Lionett lore?
Oh. Well. Did I mention my mom?
Nope.
I feel like, no.
The question
Well, I've
is,
mentioned her
is there a
before.
reason you didn't mention her? So probably you didn't.
I thought you meant before in the show.
Oh yeah, before in the show.
Oh.
Yeah, you really hadn't talked about your dad last up.
Right. I mean, my mom was like the rich girl, and so my dad was like chasing this rich girl.
Oh.
So, yeah.
So he's not like old money. Good context.
He went to the fortune teller. Fortune teller was like, go do these things, and then you'll succeed and be recognized amongst the lords and ladies, and then you can marry this girl that you're in love with.
Right.
Oh, so it was first, I want to marry this girl, how do I do it? And that's why he went to the fortune
And that's
teller?
why he went to the fortune teller. Yes. Yes.
Cool.
So yeah, so that's kind of my mom's involvement in, but like
other than being your mom.
Other than being my mom, and my mom was always like, I kind of envision Bo's mom as being one of those moms where she had Bo's back up until a certain point.
Yeah.
She was always like the more neutral party. Like my dad was the tough ass. My dad would that was where she butt heads. But my mom wouldn't necessarily like defend one or the other.
Certain boiling point, she got quiet.
She would just 100% that. Yeah.
Oh, she's just acting out. It's just what she does. She's 14 or whatever.
Kind of watching an argument play out between mom and between dad and.
Is this
Bo
fortune teller still alive or around?
Ooh.
I don't know.
He just thinks that whoever's looking out for him, he's maybe.
He's hella superstitious. He went to like fortune tellers and shit. It's why he thinks I'm like his ever-loving problem.
Actually, that's a traveler. Maybe the traveler has made contact with your dad or something, and maybe he thinks I'm the traveler.
That feels like a jump. That feels like a leap. But I'm not saying it's not a possibility. It just feels like there might be more possibilities.
Well, what we need to figure out, Bo, is who your dad thinks is watching him. Because it didn't seem odd to him that somebody was.
Well, he rambled his whole fucking life about like some, woman who like is gonna come back for his fortune and all this shit. So like, who fucking knows what he thinks?
There's something there. We should figure it out.
He just saw some like kooky fucking tarot card reader. He was always able to get got.
Bo.
What?
Those tarot card readers know what they're doing. Think of Molly. He was so smart.
You said that it reminded you of something. What?
My dad said he made a deal with a woman in the woods. Like an old fortune teller woman.
Okay.
Did he say she had a weird laugh, or that she was in robes and she did something with goblins?
What was the deal for?
He wanted to be successful and to be wealthy and to have the ability to marry my mother. He was just a poor asshole street urchin who is in love with this lady of the town.
And it worked?
In a way, he built his entire fucking life around this fortune teller, around a fucking tarot deck, basically.
But did it work? Is he rich? Is he married to your mom?
Yeah.
She said that he would he would be successful, and that she told him that he should buy a plot of land and just try farming. And he ended up buying this shitty piece of land that no one wanted because they couldn't grow anything. And he was able to get grapes to grow. And then he turned it into this really successful winery, but he busted his ass doing it. It wasn't that he had fortune or the future told, he just...
But what about the woman?
Sounds like...
What did she...
Did he
Why
ever
do
say
you
how
think-
he found her? Like who?
Did she talk about debts or something?
Also, you two live very far away from each other. There are many fairy tales with an old crone in the woods.
Well,
But
here's
perhaps-
the thing. You're up here, right? Where are you, Bo?
Yeah, protocol.
Bo is here. Feldowin is over here.
Yeah, but if she lives in the mountains or something, maybe Bo's...
Yeah, they're
maybe
only
she's
like 4
here.
inches from each other.
Should we ask your dad?
Is Mount Materi?
What is Mount Materi?
Ring a bell?
What is that? What does that
Where's
mean?
Mount
What is
Materi?
that? Where is
Mount
that?
Mentiri actually is right in this region.
See? That's days. That's a day. That's a couple days traveling from Felterwin.
I mean, we really.
Is that where he met this woman?
He said he walked on foot. He heard about some woman who could trade.
She had a home in the woods in the mountains?
He had a home in the woods, and he just walked barefoot until he eventually found her.
I'm setting up a little circle.
And he asked how he could find his own wealth, and she told him that he would be successful, and that he would have a successful winery, and that he would marry the woman he loved, and that he would birth a young beau to inherit the family business.
Well,
and he
didn't do
took
that.
it so literally that he named me Beau.
Oh. Well, your dad is like super superstitious.
Yeah. This piece of jade that he gave me, it's the only thing that I keep on me. It was like the only real gift he ever gave me because he thought it would protect me. He always gave me good luck trinkets.
It's just
Are
a
you
piece of jade?
sure it's just a good luck trinket?
Just a piece, just a jade necklace.
Holy shit, you never checked?
Don't do that?
About that moment, you see Caduceus, who has prepared a small circle of kind of trinkets, implements around the ground, fall into a momentary trance. Caduceus. All the sounds of chatting and bickering and confused raised voices here in the house begin to fade as you feel the familiar warm breeze blow over you. You can sense the clouds above traveling at a far greater speed. Time begins to accelerate, but slow to a crawl simultaneously, and you feel the warm, familiar presence of your protector.
Does the woman who cursed not live?
The breeze comes cold and biting, not in a way to deny it, but in a way that shivers the truth through you.
Has this creature ever had a conversation with Beau's father?
The cold breeze rescinds and then blows with equal strength.
Can't you read him? Yes, from me.
Does my family wait for me at the menagerie?
The cold breeze comes once more, but this time it turns warm to confirm as well, but this answer with less intensity. But all confirmations, nonetheless.
Good.
When was the last time that you saw your dad?
The night he slapped me across the face as I was getting drug out by the monks.
He slapped you as you were leaving?
Yeah.
I really don't like your dad.
Yeah, I'm starting to like him even less than I did before.
He's a complicated man.
I don't know, that didn't sound too complicated.
How long has it been, Beau, since you've seen your father? How many years?
2, 3?
Close to 3 years.
3?
What can happen in that amount of time?
How would we get there?
Teleport to Zadash.
It's still days away.
A few days, but then I would take us to Nicodranus.
It's not that far on horseback. I know. I've done the trek.
Yeah, we ride.
Has he reached out to you since?
I got a letter from my mother. About 6 months or so. Maybe more. Being at the Cobalt Soul. Saying, that they had been granted their greatest wish and had a son. Named him Thoreau Jr. after my father.
How many years ago?
I guess he's like 2 now.
You have never met your brother? Do you want to?
It's hard to even think of him as my brother.
Why?
No connection or context for the kid. He's just a name and a letter.
I wonder if when you see him, you'll feel that way.
Maybe.
You said that the woman told your father that he would have a bow? And that would do what? That would complete the spell? Or what is that?
A young Bo to take on his name. Continue his bloodline and take over his family business and all of those things. And
Bo means like your boyfriend or something.
Or boy.
Oh, it's just a boy.
I think so.
It has a few different interpretations. And he thought he was getting a boy. So as soon as my mom got pregnant, he got really set on that son. And you know, for a long time, I tried to bend my life to what he wanted. I was willing to take over the family business. I just wanted to do it in my way. And he didn't want that.
What did your way look like?
I liked traveling and fighting and talking to people, so I wanted to take the Lionett wine and take it to neighboring cities and expand it into Zadash and make it this big name. And I tried to convince him several times to load up a cart and a couple horses and give me a few crates and let me take off and see what I could do, selling crates to different taverns, if anyone who would take it. And he thought that that was a useless waste of time and that I would get hurt. Something would happen to me. And that it was best if I just learned how to crunch numbers and do accounting and balance books. He didn't want me to leave. He never wanted me to leave because he was terrified that fate was gonna come knocking at his door. And then one day I realized that I was building my whole life around what someone else told him his life was going to be. And that it was this endless fucking cycle of everyone chasing a destiny.
Empire fathers do love their sons.
Yes, they do.
Sounds like he was very protective of you.
He was. It always felt selfish. Like if something happened to me, his entire fucking dynasty would come crumbling down around him.
I have a picture of your family now. They're very successful in this area. Does that mean that you lived on an estate? Is there security? Does your father have men? What is as simple as walking up and knocking on the door?
Pretty big winery, big house, few stories. Very upper class life that he built. Does my dad have any men? Would he have bodyguards? Maybe a couple?
He'd probably have a couple of folks that worked to both just watch the premises they lived at and to keep watch on storage of their wines as well as the process.
I relay the message.
Does he know how capable you are in battle, Bo? Because you're one of the best fighters I've ever seen.
I don't know what he knows. Him giving me away was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. He let me meet all of you.
We should let them know that.
Go ahead and make, if you're assisting, go ahead and make an investigation check with advantage.
Yay for advantage. 24.
24.
23.
23. Still pretty damn good. That's actually really good. Okay. So what you end up finding is a record of
somewhat, I'd say known, but at least spoken about soothsayers and hermits that kind of fits similar to the realm of what you're looking for. Within the region of the Marrow Valley. There's a number of them. There's some that are up north. There's some that kind of wander through the Sirios Mountains, like on the Menagerie Coast side. There's talking of one hermit that lives like way out in the Menagerie Coast. This kind of like female protector of the island creatures. All these different unique stories and stuff. There's two that you find that are local to the kind of the area you're looking in the Marrow Valley. One is Isharnai, the Prism Sage.
Isharnai,
the Prism Sage.
Do I dare ask you to spell that?
Isharnai.
Ishtar. The Prison Sage?
The Prism Sage. A woman who lives alone among the Sirios mountain woods north of the Bromkin Hills. She wields strange magics, weaving boons and hexes for those who make the journey to find her, demanding high prices for her deeds, sometimes beyond mere coin. You also find Old Masquier.
Old
Masquier. Masquier.
Yeah, that's a better spell.
Old Masquier is a gnarled gnome of terse temperament who migrates through the Siren Green Forest. Known to take sides with the forest over civilization, he has both been a healer and an adversary to some over the decades, depending on the disposition when encountering them.
That's a
gnome? A gnomish man?
Yes.
That sounds like not the right
What was his name? Old
Masquier.
Old Masquier.
Masquier.
Don't mess with anybody who has a Q in their
Forest, is
name.
there something?
Correct.
Common sense.
Where's that?
The Siren Green Forest is here.
Okay.
And the other is north of the Bromkin Hills.
North of the Bromkin Hills.
I'm excited by both of these options.
Well, it's not Old Masquier.
It's got to be Isharnai.
Is that it, or those the other?
Those are the two that you find that kind of match what you're looking for loosely, as far as like hermited sages and soothsayers, people that deal in the sort of stuff that you're looking for in the region.
Any other detail on Isharnai? Is she old? Does it say how long these stories go back? Anything?
The stories go back about 50 or so years, and they're just kind of loose mutterings of people who had encounters with both of them.
Here's another stack. Try these.
Okay.
And as you do, you feel your consciousness drift out of the library, brought up into the clouds once more, rushed through the darkened, rain-bearing sky, until eventually you're brought down rapidly through fog and through mist into the treetops. You come through brambled forests and dark, dangerous wood and rocky mountainside cliffs before you come to rest what seems like the interior of some sort of a house. Small, dense, cluttered, organized in a way. Everything has its place, but it is very, very jam-packed, filled. You see at the radius what looks like the outline of many collected like books, papers, broken lanterns and pieces, elements of animal bone. You can see what looks to be a large collection of jars and vials of things that you can't quite make out the details of what's inside. You see just in the corner what looks to be a collection of stones that are kind of arranged in a pattern. And then in the center of the chamber, you see a woman wrapped in heavy, tattered robes with these like long elements of gold trim rope kind of wrapped around shoulder to side, kind of holding it on in a very kind of unique sort of ready to travel pattern. You see the familiar face of her currently looking down and grasps some of these kind of arranged runes in the side.
What are arms? Are her arms long?
The arms are long, with the fingers kind of extending outward, reminding you of Kiona the Keen, though with a physicality that matches. The movement seems while you were debating the human aspect of her with the visual element of the illusion, the physicality of her definitely scatters any idea of your standard human soothsayer. Unable to really gauge size, it's hard to tell, but the movements themselves are sweeping, unnatural grace to rapid grasps and then snatching as she takes some of these arranged runes, and you can see to the ground in front of her there are these unique sketches with what looks almost like charcoal of some kind that give these small circles. She takes the runes and scatters them onto the ground as they all scatter and then arrange, almost like there are magnets holding them to place.
Do the runes look familiar to me at all?
They're just outside of the range to make any detail, but you can see them hitting and scattering into place.
Okay.
At which point her eyes go.
Oh shit. Who's this I see? Fiona Fancy Pants.
You can't converse through it.
Oh no.
But she just slowly stands up, very aware of the scrying arcane bauble that you've sent there, and kind of just puts the arms almost wrapping around it and just kind of goes.
My curiosity is piqued. I hope this means I'm having visitors.
And it slams out.
And head over to where Bo is. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Your histamine reactions are going again.
Yeah. Been away from Zadash for a little bit, so the pollen is kicking a little, you know?
I take it you don't fully hate your dad. It's got to be hard to hear this.
Everyone wants to make their dad proud, you know? Just hoping he could. He could show some of that.
You don't know that he can't. It's been years. You've grown, you've changed. I'm sure you were even more of an unbearable shit before. I'm not saying he deserves a second chance, but he is your father, and you do have a mother and a brother that you've never met.
I guess it's hard when the word inevitable has been brought up several times the past 24 hours amongst us. I feel like I've found my family with Mighty Nine. I don't like looking at my past because it doesn't have the Mighty Nine in it. And I think I put off the inevitable. Because I'm afraid it's gonna be like my past.
I don't think one contaminates the other. You've got good, solid footing here. I mean, shit, if we want to run, we run. If we want to kick his ass, we'll kick his ass.
Yeah. I don't want to kick his ass. And I don't want to run.
Could I ask you, in your wildest dreams, and feel free to say if you don't want to tell me, what would you have happen when we go there?
I think I've worked so hard because I scripted this day in my inevitable future that I would go back to him, successful woman, respectable member of society, cobalt soul, an expositor. The thing he threw me away to, and I embraced. And then I would get mad at myself because I felt like I was doing exactly what he was doing to me my entire life, scripting me to be something else. And I'm still doing it. I haven't seen him in 3 years, and I'm still trying to be something. And I think what's scary is that I like this and what I've found, and I don't think it was until not started talking about having to go home and go away that truly started terrifying me. Because for the first time, I'm happy. And what if that goes away?
Could always go away. Could go away tonight. The gentleman's debtors could come calling.
And I think I know that. And I think I say things to not, like, you don't have to put those stipulations on yourself, because I've convinced myself that destiny or the inevitability won't come knocking. If you ignore it, it won't exist, and that's not true.
It'll be interesting either way. Your face is leaking.
I hate it.
I won't tell anyone.
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Until you begin to see the greenish, grassy plains of the Tuscan Vale begin to give way to a different coloration. The grasses begin to become duller, brown and yellow in places. And as you reach the beginning of the Bromkin Hills themselves, you can see already, not beyond just like the hills getting larger and oddly shaped, but the landscape go from patches of complete lack of vegetation where it's just cracked ground and mud to areas where you can see all manner of strange colored kind of earth and mud and minerals beginning to emerge from what look almost like small steam vents that rise from the ground. As you begin to make
This is where you grew up?
Shitty, right?
Doesn't look like farmland.
Exactly.
Heading towards the outskirts of Comorta, as you crest one of the hills, you begin to see in the later hours of the day, not quite nearing sunrise yet, but dark enough with the clouds and rain overhead that you can see the lights of all the interior lit homes of the village just begin to make their way to your eyes on the horizon. All around you, the smell changes too. As opposed to wet earth and grass, you can smell strange minerals. Some smell sweet and have almost like a jasmine type pleasant smell to it, and then waves of heavy sulfur and other like deep earth minerals emerging from what you can now see around you, pockets of very heavy geothermal activity that seem to be brewing through the nearby landscape.
You can see dozens and dozens of some of these vents, just this gentle kind of white mist. And every now and then you'll see all the small little kind of geyser emerge from spots.
Oh, is there a volcano around here?
I think one that used to be active a long time ago in the mountains, but this whole landscape is just filled with geothermal activity and steam vents.
Don't stick your hands into any of the water. It will melt. It will slough right off your bones.
What? Have you seen it happen?
No, just heard stories.
That sounds rude. Bo, have you seen it happen? You lived around here.
We used to like throw in like snails and shit in there and see what would happen. That was fun.
That's really fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah. We were kids.
Heading towards the outskirts of the city as you approach the actual town proper, there are wrought iron gates and small stone walls about waist to chest high in places. The ground itself gives way to mud, a combination of the recent weather and just probably the strange kind of ashen ground that makes up a lot of the town here. Vineyards, you know that and have heard that fine wines come from here. This is not like a landscape that would be kind to any sort of standard vineyard. At the front of the city, there are a few of the towns guard posted that, just kind of keep an eye as you approach, kind of careful and untrusting, but, keeping to their space, just kind of looking over each of you intently as you go.
How's the weather today? It's still rainy?
Oh, it's still rainy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
It is not so.
The thunder and the lightning that rolled through the night seems to have faded through the day, but it is still raining pretty hard. Heading inward, you can see this is a town built largely of pale rock and dull petrified wood, which is a lot of the forests in the mountains surrounding here. Some of it's very lush from how mineral rich a lot of the earth is, and other areas have just died off since whatever altered this mountain range happened. The lush forest that once carried it all, patches of them just withered up, and that becomes very cheap wood to build with. So it's funny, for as much as you hear about wealth and kind of the Truscan Vale is known to be a rich area, Deostock in particular, to the south. This town, the elements that you're seeing upon arriving seem a little more ramshackle and in some ways remind you of Shady Creek Run, though not as seedy necessarily, but definitely built for function over aesthetics. A lot of the people you can see bringing their workloads through the streets, themselves hoods and cloaks up, looking miserable in the weather, shouting to each other and pulling materials through. You can see carts exiting past you, heading towards the southern side of the city as they leave. A number of them carrying what look to be large barrels, some of these exports on their way out, and well-armed guards watching them as they go.
See how miserable everyone looks?
This is not the same.
The farmlands here passed from hand to hand and farmer to farmer. They kept selling it off, trying to get shit to grow. And of course, they couldn't get anything to grow until my dad and maybe a couple other farmers came in, threw down some grapes. And it turns out that the mineral-rich soil and the shitty weather from all the ocean mist makes for some great fucking grapes. Grapes. A lot of grapes. So many fucking grapes.
Right, all that stuff in some crazy old woman.
Yeah.
Passing through, you can see what is the mud fields, which are an element of kind of a lower-end residential town, though it's not like a slum per se, but it's just a kind of the standard workers' homesteads here. The streets themselves just brown and mucky, especially with all the water that's starting to flood in some places. You can see some folks are in the process of currently taking buckets and making sure that certain areas don't get too soggy. You can see situated greenhouses that are arranged in places that are enclosed entirely. where it seems some semblance of green is being maintained from the interior. You know these people have brought soil from other locations and have begun to try and find what other types of vegetation do take to the landscape here. And some do. Not as profitable as, wine is, and even then it's very selective with which patches of land do. Making your way through the mud fields, you eventually head towards what is called the Rainbow Vineyards, which is along the base of the mountains here that lead into the Sirius Range. There are these winding cliffs, and you can see where they've carved walkways that go up the side, and there are buildings kind of held in. There are heavy ropes dangling what looks to be where materials and goods are kind of brought down to lower elevation or carried up on high, as well as donkeys and horses carrying things up these paths if need be. You can see clusters and clusters of oddly colored grapevines, all just kind of set upon the entire mountainside here. And when I say mountainside, it visually is a mountainside, but none like what you've seen. There are layers and layers where the colors transition brightly from like a dull gray to a bright yellow to almost like a dripping orange in some locales. There's areas where you can see pools of hot water that are emerging in these kind of puddles of mud where it's kind of boiling, bubbling. You can see the coloration turning blue at the edges almost. And around that edge, you can see cultivating additional grapevines and other strange, odd plants that are starting to take in. And they're all very carefully under watch, very carefully guarded and well manned. And you get the sense that it's probably a lot of the, well, at least a surprising section of this town makes its living tending to vineyards here. As you guys crest up on one side of the Rainbow Vineyards section, and you can see the 3-story estate of the Lionett family, lit from the inside.
Well, whatever happens, he was an asshole for being mean to you. You're a wonderful person. You were a wonderful person.
Yeah, you're a wonderful person.
He was lucky to have you for a daughter. Hopefully he will realize that now. If he doesn't, remember what you told me. Fuck him. You have us, and we love you so much, okay?
Thanks, Jess. I'll give her a hug. They added an arch. It's even more pretentious now. Okay, let's go.
Knock or call or?
There is a heavy gate on the outside where the arch in the front gate is. It's replaced the familiar entrance to the house. There's a little courtyard where you can see there have been some trees and bushes that are tended to there. The soil within the courtyard is different from the soil surrounding, though you can see even what's been placed supposedly to try and keep the transplanted greenery intact is still browning and graying. A failed experiment on making a nice grounds around their home.
Are there any flowers?
No. This is a flowerless place.
I was going to pick all of them.
As we're approaching, is there anyone on the roof guarding the wall?
Make a perception check.
Grounds? 10.
It's hard to tell at this distance, and as the light gets darker, at this point you can sense now from just like the slow shift in brightness that you're probably about half an hour from dusk.
That's Sulfur's name.
But you would know that there's usually, at any given point in time, like 2 folks patrolling the grounds just to ensure that nothing happens to the family or the business. The gate is there. It's locked, but you know one of many tricks to get by it. So you just kind of walk up to the lock. We'll say like one of the pin materials that you
often used to keep your hair up. You just kind of like quickly, and the lock
I have a lock picking
opens.
kit.
Probably.
I'll have one, yeah.
Flashlight sword.
Yeah.
Just give it a condescending look.
There is a hitching post just outside, or say 3 hitching posts right there for travelers. You can leave the horses there.
After you, Beauregard.
If you want us to attack anybody at all, just say armadillo.
Armadillo, got it.
Armadillo.
Okay. Let's go.
Do you want us with you?
Yeah. I roll deep. That looks fucking awesome.
It's a posse.
You're in charge of us. You're the leader of the group. Cool.
It's fine. Okay, let's go.
Okay. As you guys all begin to walk along the central pathway where some of the first kind of cobblestones you've seen, you kind of glancing up forward can see on the second floor there is a railing and there is a cloaked hooded figure with a crossbow kind of just leaning on the edge, not aimed at you, but just kind of watches you carefully and intentionally making his presence known as you approach in a way that guards do oh so subtly when they're hired hands. Coming to the familiar front door, you can see there's a bit of a kind of a frosted glass window in the front that gives a little bit of light from the inside. The heavy metal knocker sits resting, familiar.
It's very close. It's on a delay. Yeah.
You need to change the batteries on the
Yeah. A moment passes, and then you hear the door opens, and you see a woman standing there. Probably early 30s, hair just kind of tied back. She's wearing not upper class clothing, more just like a worker servant outfit. Hello, can I help you?
Do I know who she is?
You do not recognize this woman.
No. My mom is way more garish in the way she dresses. It's the lady or man of the house here tonight.
May I ask who's inquiring?
Beauregard Lionett.
Oh, I'm afraid the master is tending to the vineyards at the moment. He'll probably be back shortly for dinner. But Miss Lionett is inside. Please, enter.
Oh shit.
And she opens the door.
What's wrong?
Bo, what if your dad recognizes my voice?
He probably will.
Change your voice.
I'm just going to change my voice.
Oh,
Wait.
Just talk
As
to
long
Steve.
as I'm just going to make it understand so that he doesn't
It's
look
fine.
like
You don't have to worry about it.
She kind of steps aside and kind of like, kind of just nods her head a little bit of like, I had no idea. I'm so sorry. Looking inside, it is warm, it's inviting, especially in the cold rain. But as you step inside and kind of kick off your muddy boots, or not, depending on how you feel about it, immediately here in this foyer area, you can see it has a beautiful rustic aesthetic. There are antlers on the wall. You can see it's like a dark mahogany wood interior lined with like a brighter wood used to kind of set the walls apart. There is a staircase that goes to a second landing that kind of wraps around the main foyer area, and there is a iron chandelier that sits in the middle that is circular with kind of magically held candles that just kind of keep a constant and kind of nice glow there.
This is nice.
Yeah.
You can see the servant closes the door behind you and then rushes off. Please, just wait just a moment. Runs upstairs. Madame? Madame? And you can hear some, like, giggling upstairs. She goes and leaves into another room. You hear some.
Over to the fireplace.
It's warm. The hearth is burning.
Yeah, I mean, looks pretty awful here, right? No?
Your family has done all right for themselves.
How you are? How are you?
How you
doing?
are?
How are you are doing?
How you are?
How are y'all doing?
Huh?
Beauregard.
Oh, okay.
And you all kind of turn and look, and kind of partway down the stair landing, you see a woman, similar kind of, darker olive skin, hair put up into this very, very tight bun with a bit of ponytail that kind of dangles behind. A really, really nice dress for just being casually at the house, but comfortable, of like a deep green color. You can see she is leaning in a very startled way, just looking directly down at Bo.
Hey, Mom.
I'm sorry, I didn't know you were coming.
Yeah, it's kind of a trend that I have going on.
Well, and she kind of heads down the stairs at a brisk pace and approaches and kind of like steps up to you and then halts, unsure kind of how to greet you. And gives a somewhat warm, somewhat stilted hug, and then kind of pulls back a bit.
I'm sorry to barge in. I know you were wanting to kind of keep me distant from the family, but I need to talk to Dad. It's important. And then we'll be gone, and you don't have to.
No. You
anymore.
can stay as long as you like. Who are your friends here? And you hear a voice from upstairs go like, "Mommy." And you see from around the corner the servants trying to like catch up to him, but you see a young boy who in many ways looks like a young boyish Beauregard, longer hair that's kind of in this kind of wild curl, looks like he just kind of got out of a shower or something and had his head briskly dried. He's wearing these kind of baggy pajamas that kind of drag just past the fingers, and he kind of begins running down the stairs.
Or two. Woof.
2.5. It's not. When I say like tumbling down the stairs, it's.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
And restore.
All that.
There you go.
They bounce back.
Yeah. Well, no, it's the servant trying to catch up with him, and they both kind of come down to join as Clara still kind of isn't breaking eye contact and just kind of reaches out and takes your hands. It's good to see you.
Yeah?
Would you like to stay for dinner?
That's most gracious of you. We are the Mighty Nine. We are esteemed friends of your daughter.
Well, many friends of Beauregard are friends of ours, so.
Hi.
Hi.
How you are?
I'm Clara Lionett, Beauregard's mother, but I assume you know that by now. I'll ensure some places are set.
Hey, Mom, remember that year that we had that like mudslide that ended up happening and like took out half of our stock and we only had like a few bottles left from that year?
Yes.
Can we go grab one of those?
Of course.
Been talking about it a lot, I'd love to.
Yes, of course. Janine, could you get one of those bottles, please? This one is right away. And then darts out. Anyway, oh my goodness. I didn't even. Beauregard. And she turns and, kind of clutching the side, holding on to the edge with a big smile, bright eyes. The little boy kind of looks up at all of you. Kind of,
Thoreau Jr., I'd like you to meet your older sister, Beauregard. Beauregard, this is Thoreau Jr.
This sister?
Yes, it's your sister. And he kind of walks up to you.
I crouch down.
Yeah. And kind of puts his arms around you.
He has that smell to him. Like all the fucking kids in Comorta.
And he kind of like pulls back a little bit, and he's still kind of holding on to you a little bit, and he's just kind of just looking at you, and he's just kind of taking you in. As Clara goes, we're hoping you'd come by sometime to meet him.
Do you know? The timeline was always interesting to me. Did you know you were pregnant with him when you sent me away?
The mantle is lovely. Justin, would you help me over here for a moment? Perhaps everyone, if we could just...
I leaned down to TJ. Hey, little man.
Hey.
What's your favorite color?
And he points at his mother's dress.
Green? Oh, here, you might like this then. Give him the jade necklace. Put it around him. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been in some dank places, little man, so it'll really build up your immune system.
And he's just looking at you, go. Some slobber kind of coming off of it.
Anybody's.
Oh, what? Oh.
Tastes like indigo.
Look, Beauregard. Things are challenging all around. Your father didn't mean things to become so tense when you went away.
Well, it was a hell of a goodbye, you know? Not entirely sure why anyone would think that that was a good fucking idea to handle the situation. With a daughter that was clearly just wanting your fucking attention.
I'm sorry. I know that doesn't mean much. Your father was under a lot of stress, and things should have been handled differently. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Fuck, Mom. So you're just as passive as you were back in the day. Did you get that bottle of wine?
Janine's... And you hear the footsteps coming from under the cellar.
Janine!
Here's
My
the...
hero!
Passes the bottle.
Janine. Thank you. Thank you.
I'll take care of it.
Yeah. It's like one of our most expensive bottles of wine, so enjoy it. How much do those sell for, Mom?
The front door opens and you can hear the rain from outside, and you see a figure kind of step in with a heavy overcoat, hat on, kind of like step inside, kick off a bit, close the door, take the hat and the coat off, hang it on the side and turn. And then, as your father looks you directly in the face, and immediately just looks like he's seen a ghost. Beauregard.
Hi. Mom.
I can see that. I was not expecting to see you today.
Or ever.
Welcome. For friends of yours, I assume.
Yeah, Mom, Dad, this is the Mighty Nine.
He looks towards all of you and then looks to Nog.
Hi. How you are?
Hello. Kind of looks to
Dad,
Clara. And
don't do that, Dad. Don't.
Clara looks back and picks up TJ and kind of puts him in her arms. And
Oh, fine.
Fucking embarrassing.
Cute kid.
He looks very tasty.
By this point, TJ is looking right at Nod after, and goes like,
Cool, right?
Clara's like, I'm gonna go put TJ to put him down. And then takes off a little bit, and Throw steps in a bit. Well, it's a pleasure to have you all. I'm glad you've all been traveling, I assume.
Just gonna go start rifling around for some cups or something.
I have been receiving updates about your work with the Cobalt Soul. Apparently, been doing quite some fine work. I guess I should say expositor, Beauregard. That's incredible. I mean,
Still sending you those tuition updates, huh?
well, it's important for us to, make sure we know how our Beauregard's doing.
Unparalleled. She is.
Mm-hmm. As she would be.
Insight check. I want to know if he seems like he's genuinely proud of her, or if...
Go for it, make an insight check.
Come on, Jesse. Roll high.
What is that, 23?
23?
Wow. Whispers. Whispers. This is intense family drama that you'll only get thanks to Hero Forge. Hero Forge, makers of minis and also supporters of intense family dramas. Need more.
Now they know our secret.
That's right.
Yeah, good hit, man.
Found a couple cups.
Oh, thank you.
Oh.
For this, I will try it.
Oh, here you go.
Oh.
Well, a toast to Expositor Beauregard Lionett.
And
Cheers.
I know you well enough, Beauregard, to assume you haven't come for the sake of pleasantries.
I just go up and stand next to Bo and put my hand on her back, and I'm gonna whisper in her ear, "Do you want us to stay? Please."
Yep, you know me, Dad. Wouldn't be here if I didn't want something.
Shoot him.
Listen, that story that you love to tell at every family gathering and for bedtime and any chance you had, that old hag that you talked about, we need to find her. Was that story even real, or was that just meant to terrify me?
He finishes his drink and sets it down. Of course it's real, Beauregard. Look, I know you've had our differences. And I've not been the pinnacle of a father in the same way that you've been the pinnacle of a daughter. I accept my responsibilities and the things that I've maybe been a bit harsh on. Look what you've become.
This feels like a weird justification of your behaviors, but I'd like to hope that what I became had nothing to fucking do with you, but maybe I'd be lying to myself. Yeah, I was difficult. I had my onus in everything that happened. But I thought a dad was supposed to stay by their kid when they're having a fucking hard time.
You see his eyes
Mom already fucking mentioned that life gets difficult and it's hard. So you're right, maybe it's easy to justify the easy way out. Just get rid of the problem.
That's not what this was about. You were on a self-destructive path. We didn't know what to do. I've never been a... No one teaches you how to be a good father. I regret choices I've made, and you don't think I don't hold myself responsible for... I thought I was doing what was best for you. Truly.
You did. It's probably the best thing you could have done for me, so thank you.
Well, I mean, I just heard the stories growing up about the witch in the mountains.
What was her name?
I don't remember. She was just a witch in the mountains. Bo, you know how I grew up. We had nothing. I was in the street. I had nothing else to lose. I mean, if I was lucky, this would work. If I was not quite as lucky, she would have just chopped me up and eaten me. Didn't have anything else waiting for me. So I went and just wandered north through the mountains, through the forests, and my shoes began to split, and I was chased by wolves and worse, and until eventually one day I just stumbled upon this little shack. And there was the witch. Right when I began to think it was all a lie and I had thrown myself to the wolves for nothing. There she was, with her
crooked smile and hungry eyes and...
Did she have long arms?
Longer than natural, yeah. She asked me how I'd come here and threw myself so withered before her, and I said I had nothing to lose, and heard that she can help people. And she said she could. She said she was a fortune teller. She said fortune was her specialty. And so she threw her rooms and played her cards and said that there was a way to get what I always wanted for just a fragment of my fortune. And I said, well, I don't have a fortune. She said, not that fortune, your fortune. And I agreed because I had nothing to lose. I said, this woman I wanted to marry doesn't deserve an impoverished man. Whatever it takes. And so she said, I'll be a great craftsman, working in fine spirits, to pick a place in the mountain land, and wherever I picked, the ground would grow. She said, a young bow will take on the great name to continue this success until everything eventually will humble me by that which I desired most. And then she sent me on my way. We came back. We built on land with what last bit we could borrow from her family. And she was right. And we had another blessing. And the fact that it all worked means I don't know what else she took. And I don't know what's coming to humble me. And I just want to protect my family. So if you intend to actually go and see this witch, just be careful.
For me? Or for you and yours?
For us, Beauregard.
Maybe I'm the one that's sent to humble you.
But I don't think for any moment your mother and I haven't loved you from the depths of our hearts this entire time. I'm sorry if we didn't show it properly.
Any landmarks to look out for?
If you hear noise, run.
There was a thick bramble tangle, partially grayed and petrified like many of the woods there. That means you're close. If the ground begins to tar, it looks like you're almost there. And if I recall, it's pretty straight north from here.
Should we take horses there, or should we go on foot?
You can take horses as far as you want, but there'll be a point where you won't be able to bring them with you.
But up here, it's just a vineyard, and then a few miles over, another vineyard. Or do you have neighbors?
And there's a tavern not too far. Sorry.
Choked up from that meeting?
A little phlegm still from that last night. Yeah, there's a dive bar with a few beds not far.
Let's
right?
do that.
Yeah, you can go.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, we're gonna run into like your old crew there? You're gonna see like a bunch of old high school dropouts or anything? Are you gonna get any fights before we go to the real fight? Like, is your name gonna be written on the bathroom wall like by 6 different hands?
That maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
We have to go.
Yeah.
You look familiar.
Nah.
All right. Turns right down and goes back to the bar.
Did he bring out glasses with that bottle, or is it just the bottle?
No, just the bottle.
Just the bottle.
Well, if that's a friend of yours, you should find out what the scuttlebutt is around here.
Why? Have friends, dude.
Well, I would assume if anyone was your friend, it was the purveyor of whiskeys.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. He's the same old guy who's been here for like the past 10 years.
10 years, right. So he's known you since you were a little bitty?
Well, ever since I started like sneaking in here, yeah.
You snuck in here underage to grab a drink?
What have you seen this place? What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, it's true.
Draw. You could draw. Or
Did you ever
play piano.
arrested here? Did you get kicked? Have you been kicked out of this establishment before?
Actually, it was back behind this place where I was doing the deal that I got busted when I was doing the handoff of my family's
shit.
wine.
We are on hallowed ground.
Yeah.
Just doing a little digging around. What do you know about the Lionett family, out of curiosity?
Oh, they're one of them rich types.
Yeah.
Living up here on the mountainside, the cliffside there. You know, what a bunch of stuck-up pricks, if you ask me. But you know, that's kind of par for the course for any of the folks living in that area.
Curse lifted.
Oh, come on. Caleb, as soon as
I walk in.
You have to give something in order to have your curse
I walk
lifted.
in.
Oh, come on. Caleb, as soon as she comes out, fireball the wall.
You step in and the door closes behind you.
Okay.
Why wait?
What's this about new misery? What now? Yeah, okay.
You have a familiar scent on you. I can sense we are already tethered in some way.
Tell me.
Familiar taste.
Familiar. So, not new.
Not new. But I can take new.
What more could you take from me that you haven't already?
You have an imagination, don't you? Quite a lot. What would you give me?
Why don't you start by telling me what you've taken?
From you?
From me and mine.
I have given. I have granted what was asked of me.
Yeah.
And yet you smell of misery. You ask a question you already know the answer to.
Nothing's given freely. Ever. So, if I already smell of misery, not new misery, what more could you want?
She shifts her demeanor towards you, thinking.
It's not about specifically taking. What I want is to be given something that you know you would not want to lose.
And then what do I get?
I release your friend. But the scales have to weigh evenly.
I'll walk away from all of it. Everything that I've worked really hard to get. It's family. Family.
It's in the air. It's not your fault. It's all of us.
This family. My old family. My new brother. My position.
She leans
I've achieved.
Interested in listening intently.
I've achieved more than I thought I ever would. Richer than I ever thought I would. More skilled than I ever thought I would. I don't know what's left past this anyway. Maybe I've peaked, you know?
Chosen exile.
You see her eyes kind of seeming to almost look beyond the walls of this chamber towards the individuals that await you outside.
From this, that is new misery.
Where would I be exiled to? My choice, yeah. But where would I be?
The inspiration will find you. Do you accept this transaction?
What of my family? My blood family? What of my father and his current deal?
His deal continues until it comes to its fruition. This is a new deal for a new misery. Think about it if you're uncertain. But you've come this far, have you not? Be ashamed to walk away empty-handed.
I leave.
Maybe it was his fear and not being able to.
Oh, that's deep.
Thank you.
Wait, what was it? His fear was the price?
Yeah, like what if, he made his entire life so miserable because he was seeking this rich goal that he ended up making himself miserable and Bo miserable and all these people around him miserable, and that's what she was feeding off of. That's the price that he paid. He didn't get to live a happy life with his wife. He lived a very sad life.
And drove his daughter away.
Is your mother like
Who's walking around
caring
like
at
that,
all?
telling people to go fuck herself. Themselves.
She's caring when she's caring. Yeah. She cares.
I bet when your dad isn't around, your mom's cool.
That's kind of exactly it. Yeah.
What's your favorite color?
Green. I remember being, infatuated with people, like 6, 7 years old.
Who were you infatuated with as a 6-year-old? Did you have, you're from a fancy wine family, right?
Yeah.
Did you have tutors and stuff, or did you, how did you learn?
I went to a fancy private school that no one really liked me much because I came from the rich family of the town, so little ostracized there. It was weird.
So then who did you fancy? Who did you make googly eyes at?
It's funny. I remember this chef that we had back when I was a personal chef. And we would hire her sometimes, whenever we would have parties, not all the time, but on fancy events. And she was always just really kind to me, but she was always just she was super cool, and she would kind of bring me sneak me treats sometimes, she would always stash aside some dessert and extra bread and stuff at the end of the day and kind of slip it to me. And then when I started getting older, she would slip me some little sips of wine, but be like, don't tell your parents. And she was just the coolest. And I didn't really know until I was older what those feelings were.
Wow.
Yeah. Looking back, though, she probably should have been a sign. Yeah.
A sign to you?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have, had that first boyfriend if I would have, connected that I was having, oh, she really hot type of feelings.
But you, just because I'm morbidly curious.
Sure.
You did have, who was your first boyfriend?
His name was...
Oh my God.
It is not
you
written
really
down
write that
somewhere.
down?
His name...
Yeah. Yes.
It just never came up. I didn't know how to bring
Time travel. Full circle.
Fuck.
You can make it up. We won't know.
His name was Tony.
Matoni.
Matoni?
Matoni.
What's your alter ego?
Did you say Tony?
Sorry.
Matoni.
No.
Matoni. Hi, guys.
Did you guys date for a while? It must have been very awkward.
It was not.
Hi, Tony.
Wherever I go.
We were teenagers. It wasn't a thing, and then we ended up being more bros than anything after a bit. And then that was actually when I did start dating Tori.
Tori into Tori? Oh, he must have felt so bad.
Well, Tori was the first lady that I dated.
That must have been supremely confusing, those two names in a row.
Well, I'm trying to. I've been hit in the head a lot, as a monk, so I don't think his name was Tony. But
I also wanted to let you know that Xenoth is currently being held at the Zadash archive under arrest by the library.
Xenoth?
On top of their looking into this mess with the dynasty, Dairon had also been looking into claims that you had apparently made of being kidnapped by the Cobalt Soul and forced into your tutelage.
Wow. Sorry, I wasn't expecting any of this. Yes?
That is not how we operate.
I honestly didn't know that.
And into this investigation, Dairon discovered that Xenoth was the one responsible for accepting the money from your father, and oversaw the acquisition of you and your forced tutelage, as well as many other briberies and illegal activity under the name of the library. So, first, let me say thank you for being honest about your experience with the expositor in aiding us in finding this link and exposing a very serious heat of corruption within our very sorry group. Let me please extend my sincerest apologies.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm a little taken aback by all of this. The soul really helped me find a way. Maybe much more indirectly than what is the norm. Yeah. It's odd looking at one of the most traumatic moments of my life and on another side feeling a sense of thanks and gratitude that it happened. Because it did send me on this path. I didn't know that flaky corn husk of a man actually had any of this in him, to be totally honest. I gave him a lot of shit. Really hard time, if that makes, you all feel any better. He did have to deal with me, so he reaped a little bit of what he sowed.
That is good to know. And I'm glad that you found a place within the Cobalt Soul. But we would like to think that you would have found your way here regardless, and it should always have been your choice. And I know we cannot make that up to you. But I want to extend our deepest apologies.
Thank you. Thank you for taking these matters so seriously. I didn't expect it. I guess you get used to cruelty being handed down as the norm.
And we are not absolved of responsibility in accidental cruelty. We are people, and people are complicated and messy. But if there's one thing that we cannot abide by, it's corruption within our very halls. That stands against everything that we stand for. We are not a body of government. We are not a religious group. We are a people that want to protect those who cannot protect themselves from abuses of power. And you've been abused by somebody in power. And you will see that they are properly punished. You are not required to, but if you wish to engage in the trial in about 2 months, you are welcome. Beauregard, within a few weeks you are called to Zadash to preside within the King's Hall under the judgment of Lawmaster Orentha Stonegrasp, overseen by the High Richter Dolan Thrime.
I go where you go, baby.
Thank you. I love you.
I love you.
The High Richter Dolan Thrime recognizes you upon arrival and greets you. You recognize Dolan as the individual who him and his husband Horace.
Yeah, we helped him escape the city.
The event is also attended by the High Curator Loman Ture of the Zadash Archive of the Cobalt Soul, as well as the High Curator Udala Fan. Expositor Dyron is the primary prosecutor on the behalf of the Library of the Cobalt Soul. Horace is also present. It takes not but a couple of days. The arguments are damning. When it eventually comes to your time to speak, there isn't an unclenched, angry fist in the house. Your father is brought to speak on the stand. And try as he might to defend his actions and the morality that he wishes to uphold and the reasoning, the good for his daughter. You can't help but notice the shift in the power dynamic between the wealthy and respected Lionett family owner and the extremely respected expositor, Beauregard Lionett. Your father sees a brief stint of jail time, as well as some fines.
As he walks out of the courtroom after being tried, he's being escorted out. I pop off my expositor badge and just palm it in his hand as he's walking out. Give this to TJ for me.
Beauregard,
And then I just turn away.
He just kind of clutches it and is taken away. Until eventually, at the end of the trial, the words that reach your ears, in trepidation and elation. Adan Zenoth is found guilty of bribery and corruption, kidnapping and conspiracy under the laws of the Crown and the Library of the Cobalt Soul. His granted estate is forfeited to the library. He is to be jailed within the Umber Dungeon of Zadash for a minimum of 35 years. And he is barred from holding any office or position of management within Imperial lands for the remainder of his days.